Hello. It's been a while. It's been a week. And in that week, I was just being a lazy person. But also, I was really sleepy. I'm not gonna lie. I could not get any of my sleep any of this week. So I'm drinking Alani. Well, what's left of it, at least. Because for the past week, I've been staying up 4 a.m. every day and then going to work at 4 p.m. every night and staying there until night. And so I just have not been um in the mood to stream in that time. So none new really with me in my personal life at least. However, the interesting thing is a lot of news, a lot of crazy ass news, both in pop culture and in political stuff. Um, and also, actually, there's something new. I also, while I was staying up to 4 a.m., why I was staying up to 4 a.m. every night was because I was watching back in 2014, 2016, 17. I was obsessed with Lifetime reality shows, specifically Dance Moms, and I was up all night rewatching some of the seasons. Uh, and I was watching, and I was thinking about watching the reunion because I haven't seen it because I saw it when it came out, but I never watched it because at that point I kind of lost interest. But recently it's been reignited, and I was thinking about watching the reunion on stream, but I don't know if I can because I don't know how interesting that would be because I don't know like all the lore to it. But I wanted to think about watching it. But I haven't actually like looked into actually watching it yet. Also, when I was also looking into the Lifetime stuff, I also thought about there's like a lot of Lifetime shows that like when I was a child I liked to watch, specifically Lifetime movies. I didn't really watch too many of their shows. It was, as far as reality television goes, it was TLC and Lifetime for me specifically. And I was thinking about something, a similar show like Lifetime is Bring It. And that goes on for like 5 seasons. And I really wanted to watch that on stream. But I don't know if I'm going to do it today. But that's just an idea for the future. And I keep burping. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Because, like, if anybody knows anything about Dance Moms, they know I'm gonna put music on in the background because I want to hear something. But if anybody knows anything about Dance Mom, they know like Abby Lee Miller is an abusive piece of shit, to put it lightly. And so I was really like interested in like, I don't know if there's a video about it specifically, but there was three Lifetime movie shows that were in the realm of like Dance Mom stuff. Like Dance Mom popped off right after season 2. It like popped off, and so like Lifetime or whoever, whatever, decided to like whoever owned it at the time. I don't know which, because I'm pretty sure random rant, but I'm pretty sure Dance Moms had 3 seasons not on Lifetime, but I might be wrong. It might have always been on Lifetime, but I can't remember right now. And then I think they changed over to a different, and then I think it was like either on E or something, and then or like Wii or something. I don't know. And then it changed over to Lifetime, and that's how we got here. Um, but anyways, Dance Moms popped off, and so Lifetime saw that opportunity. And they're like, wait, what's other things we can do? And because Tyler's and Tiaras was also very popular around this time. Not that that show is as like when I was a child. I watched the show when I was also like around the same age as the kids, like a little bit older in Tyler's and Tiara. Would not watch that show. That show is so fucking weird. I cannot like. The more I think about it as a kid, it's like, oh, this is so disturbing. Um, but it was around that time. So they took Tyler's and Tiaras and made Kim of Queens, and Kim of Queens is like only 2 seasons. I really loved it though. It was like the wholesome Dance Moms, because like unlike Abby, Kim, the woman who does the pageant stuff for like teenagers, Which I can get behind a little bit more than child pageants, but like still weird. It's still a little bit weird, but I can get behind it more because you have more like your brain's a little bit more developed, not fully developed, but a little bit more developed than like a literal 6-year-old. You know what I mean? But she was like really wholesome, and it was about like confidence more than anything, and I liked her for that. And then also Bring It was interesting because it was like the first like fully black dance team, and also I shouldn't say this, I don't think, but I don't live where these people were, but I lived in the same area, around the same area where they filmed it, and so it was really fun to be like, oh, this is happening within my like area. So that's the reason why I like that show too. But I like kind of watched 2 seasons and I stopped watching. So I was thinking we could finish watching it on stream eventually. That's just me talking. I don't know if I actually will do that. Not today, at least. But yeah. And also like Lifetime has crazy movies that I also want to watch on stream because they're really insane, to put it very lightly. But they are it's an interesting thing. Anyways, today I want to play Super Auto Pets, but more importantly, I really want to play or I want to talk about. So recently, the internet has been stirring up, like piss mad, about Sabrina Carpenter. I'm gonna play Super Auto Pets after that, but after this. But I just wanna talk about this real quick because I genuinely don't get it. And maybe this is me not being feminist woman, but recently the internet has been up in flames about shit. I forgot that was up there. I hate this here. Anyways. I think this is fine. Anyways, the internet's been up in flames, genuinely, about this image. And me personally, I'm really like, I don't understand it. Everybody's been saying she is setting women back with this image, that she's doing this for the male gaze and all that stuff. And in my personal opinion, at least, I cannot open this image up by itself. I'm trying to, so I can zoom in on it. Cause this is the most that let me zoom in on it. It's weird. What's going on? Anyways, I can turn the music off now. Anyways, everybody's up in arms because, okay, look, I'm gonna see if I can find a better image real quick for this. Just so we can fully get into, like, what it is. This is a bad quality image. Very bad quality. For no reason. Why is it all bad quality? It's fine. I'll just use this image. It's fine. I can't find anything else. Anyways, everybody's up in arms. They're like, she is setting women back. This image looks like abuse, which I can understand, and that it is like just a bad image overall. Yeah. And in my opinion, I'm like, this is, in my opinion, until we see the album, this is like Schrodinger's abuse. not even abuse. Schrodinger's like, what do we actually mean? Because on one hand, everybody's like, one side saying this is horrible, this is disgusting, this is gross, this is for male gaze specifically, and that she is like sexualizing herself in a way that is demeaning towards women. And I can understand some of that. The other side saying, it's satire, guys, you don't get it, you don't understand. If you listen to her music, she is pretty much like demeaning herself. And I'm in the middle of thinking of this, like, I can understand both sides, and like I have to be a centrist, I really do, but like there's like this level of like there's a level of, in my opinion, of like in my opinion, I'm like we don't know where this is going yet. So like why in the world would we like because like her album, like the thing is, this was just a random image. If like, for example, if we were like, if like Playboy magazine, for example, came out with an image like this today in this age and was like, "This is sexy, guys. Don't you want to whatever to this?" Then I'd be like, "Yeah, this is weird. This is horrible, and I don't like it." However, this is an album, and an album cover is part of the art of making an album, straight up. So, in my opinion, I'm like, this is not what it is just yet. So we gotta like sit down, sit tight, figure out what's going on first with the album. If she comes out with this album and it sucks and it like justifies this image in a way that's not healthy, then I'm gonna be like, that's gross and disgusting and whatever. But like so far, I don't think it's gonna be that. There's also this fan theory that we don't know yet, could be real, because she's known to have these type of jokes. If you know anything about Sabrina Carpenter, but they're like saying that this person could be a woman or even Sabrina Carpenter herself in this image. If they and they're going to zoom out and you're going to see the full image, and it's going to be her basically saying she demeans herself, essentially. And in that image, even that image, I can still see people being like, "That's still weird and disgusting" or whatever. It'd be making a point, but I just like I can still see people saying that. However, my like, justification of this is that it's not good or bad until we see the context of the album. If the album sucks, there's no reason for this. Like there's no way to justify it. If she's a good album, she talks about like women oppression or whatever. Like people have been saying like her politics aren't good enough to even make an album like this, and like we don't know. Like we don't know. Maybe she is venturing into the world of that, but like we don't know. But even if that doesn't happen, even if her album sucks and it's bad, we can still be like, this is a bad album. But like the people, to me, in my opinion, that are saying like, oh, she's setting women back, I'm like, even if the album literally sucks, it's like, no, she's not. She's not doing anything, anything that's setting women back inherently. Like she herself is not doing that. So I just don't get this like uproar, because you see a lot of people, on like Twitter and on Reddit, like being like, this is disgusting, this is horrible, you're setting women back. And I can't fully like sit with them, because they're just jumping on something, in my opinion, before fully understanding anything that's going to come out of this image. Yet like I can understand, like there's some people who are like, this reminds me or it's triggering to me because it reminds me of abuse or whatever. And I do actually sympathize. I know I said with whatever, but I do actually kind of sympathize with that, because I get why people would think that. I get why people would think that, straight up. But and that's why I'm like, it's kind of a triggering image. So I get that. It's kind of like a trigger warning image. But the people who are like instantly jumping down her saying she's only doing this to get men's approval or whatever is strange to me, because like like I hate to be like, she can do whatever she wants, but like she can do whatever she wants, like truly. Like if she wanted, even if she genuinely wanted to do this to get men's approval, is like, that's her business. I don't know. Like she has never like publicly, as far as I understand, never claimed to like be anti-men or anything and not want their attention or approval. It's just is what it is. But so I just like didn't get like a lot of discourse around this, because I'm like sitting here like, we don't know what's gonna come from this yet. And the image itself, you could say it's disturbing, like, but it's not even the worst thing in the world, genuinely. And like people talking about this like it's gonna end the world is crazy to me. It's like, it's just one image. I don't get it. I feel like I'm not making a great point about this. I just think it's just like not that serious as people are making it out to be. Like it's just an album cover, and like once we figure out what the album's about, and when it comes out, we can then decide whether or not she was trying to set women back or not. Because this whole discourse is just like silly, like very silly to me. So that's like one of the things like that I was like, while I was on my break, I was thinking about a lot. I was like, what is this and for what reason? There's no reason to be this worked up about this, straight up. in my personal opinion. Okay, so moving on from that, that's just like my like little mini rant about it, because I just like really don't. I saw it and I was like, yeah, the image is kind of whatever, but I just moved on. I just wasn't like, she's trying to do this to demean women, and I understand there's context behind why people are mad about it and everything, but it's just not to be taken seriously until the album comes out. It's because it's a way that everybody just jumped down it and was like, this is disgusting, when I'm like, there's other albums where you could be like, this is more weird or like disgusting to do or put on an album. Like, if she makes great social commentary on the album, then I'm gonna sit here and be like, or if even it's about like specifically not even about what's going on in the world, but specifically her situation and how she feels like she has been demeaned either by herself or just by men in general, and that's why she put the image out. That I'm like, you know what I mean? So, and I'm also like, art's supposed to make you feel something, like good or bad. If you can't look at art and go, this has affected me in some way, you're kind of not making art. That's my personal opinion, though, and it could be wrong, but that's how I feel about it. Uh, anyways, I'm trying to decide. I have this video here about dance moms, and I told you I was obsessing, absolutely obsessing about dance moms. That's part of the reason why I stayed up all night and was not streaming, because I was so tired. I didn't feel like doing anything during that, and I was thinking about doing our reaction to some dance moms lore. It's by Deep Dive. And it's called Dance Moms Monster, the Abby Lee Miller story. I want to see what they say about this, because there's so much. I've usually watched their videos a lot. There's also another one they have. They have the Secret World Dance Moms, which I'm like, ooh. I don't want to do a full Dance Mom thing, but like, ooh, I'm so interested. Because I really, in my personal opinion, like, the things that have happened on Dance Moms is atrocious and fucked up, straight up. So I think I want to watch it. It's 50 minutes. So hopefully you can skedaddle in there and get out of there quick enough. And then I'm going to play Super Auto Pets and then maybe Little Witch in the Woods. So I have my my deer things on. So that's generally the plan for today. I just wanted to kind of, this is going to be kind of a chill stream though, so I might not play Little Witch in the Woods because I'm trying to chill. Because it's my this is my just chilling and relaxing stream. But anyways, let me go to, okay. Anyways, let's get on with it. Wait, oops. That's not on. Okay, it should be on now.
Ladies and gentlemen, receiving our overall award, Abby Lee Dance Company.
There were over 280 acts, and they were first.
So for background really quickly, just so we're on the same page, I started watching Dance Moms season 4. If anyone knows season 4, specifically the fight that is the most freaking popular. Sorry. The season 4 episode 7, all need to be said. That's the thing that drew me into the show. So I started watching from that season onwards to season 5, 6, 7, and I think there's 9 seasons. No, there's 8 seasons. But I didn't watch the last season for the most part. I watched a little bit of it, but I lost interest because most of the main girls were gone at that point. The main girls that I mostly had all my interest in. So that's just a little background for that. So, but then later on I rewatched the entire show on my own, or like most of the entire show. I didn't watch like every single season, but I watched most of it. Anyways, let's go back.
We knew that Abby's legal troubles were simmering and bubbling, and finally, that pot has boiled over. This team is collateral damage in Abby's personal problems.
The court and the judge, they think I'm hiding money so it doesn't show up anywhere. That's bull.
You're preparing yourself to have to go to prison. Are you scared?
Yes, of course. You have to go. You have to go. Give me the camera.
We gotta get this MRI. We need to go to the hospital now. Something is not right.
I don't want to make him one more dime. I just wish that the world, they realize that I did something that was good, from a good place in my heart.
Yeah, this is
I did something that was good.
This is where I started watching. I'm not lying. I saw like so many ads about this, and I was in my reality TV whatever at that point. So this is what got me into the show.
Place in my heart that I wanted to be best.
And for the record, I think Happy Lo Miller like is a piece of shit, and like going through like all the fucking mental turmoil she put every single one of the girls through. Not saying she deserves what happened to her, but I'm just saying karma comes around, and you don't want to be on the opposite side of when karma comes for you. That's all I gotta say about that one.
Flipping through your television in the 2010s, you'd see some iconic reality TV villains. From Simon Cowell on American Idol,
You just killed every cat in Denver.
to Gordon Ramsay on Kitchen Nightmares.
What are you?
Idiot sandwich.
To even Robert Irvine on the Food Network. But if you flipped to the Lifetime Network, you'd be treated to a woman like no other.
So it's always
many
on
villains
Lifetime.
have
I couldn't
risen to
remember.
great heights. Many have fallen, but few have been as notorious as the evil queen of children's competitive dance, Abby Lee Miller.
You preach theater etiquette to my kids. Put your phone away. You preach theater etiquette. Put it away.
Where are you going? I don't know. I think I'm going to go to Baskin Robbins.
She's right there. We're gonna have to speed up a little.
See, this is like the season I didn't watch. I do not remember any of this shit. Not even a little
Becoming
bit.
the face of dance teachers across the world and taking the mainstream media by storm. Abby Lee Miller would explode onto the scene as the ruthless dance teacher commanding the Abby Lee Dance Company on Lifetime's reality TV smash hit Dance Moms. But her new fame would cost her her freedom, quite literally. See, behind all the glittery costumes and bickering dance moms was an even darker reality than the one that was portrayed on the show. Abby Lee Miller would not only conceal hundreds of thousands of dollars from the federal government, but she would also allegedly enlist the help of the dance moms in an undercover smuggling operation across the Australian border.
Bro, that's crazy. All I knew about this jail thing that she went through is I knew she went to jail, and I knew that it was something about money. And I knew also, spoilers, they already kind of hinted at it, but like Melissa, Maddie, and Mackenzie's mother was the person helping. That's all I remember from this part. I don't remember anything else.
Moms were in deep. Some would stick with Abby through her very public criminal trial, but others would publicly go against her. This entire media circus would send Abby Lee Miller into one of the longest public breakdowns ever documented on reality television, and would even end with Abby Lee in federal prison. Now, this is a part 1 to a 2-part series, so be sure to check out part 2 after this video. Especially
We're not
if you
watching
wanna
part 2
know
today,
everything
just
about
so you know.
dance moms and their daughters.
We might watch it
But
next
first,
time,
me
but
and
definitely not
Shelby
today.
are gonna dive deep into the rise and fall of the world's most notorious dance instructor, Abby Lee Miller.
To start this deep dive, we have to hop in the trusty old deep dive time machine and hold on to your hats because we're going back over a century ago to the year 1907. In 20th century France, where a man
That's
named
crazy.
Camille de Renal
I did not think I
convert
didn't
a
know
ballroom
2000.
into the first ever dance competition. Until this point, dance had never been considered a formal competition and had only ever been considered for pure entertainment. Turning something soft and traditionally feminine into a sport in the year of 1907, well, it made major waves. The competition would draw spectators from every corner of France and would prove to be a huge success. Competitive dance would begin taking root across the entire globe. But this was 43 years before the World Dance Council was formed, so competitive dance still had a lot of growing to do when it first debuted, especially in regards to child dance competitions, which wouldn't take form until the early 1980s. 20 years after that first dance competition in France, on a fated night in a small town in Pennsylvania, Marion, Abby Lee's mother, would be born. As a young girl, Marion would immediately take up an interest in dance, her family getting her classes under Martha Davies. However, dance class would be cut short in the 1940s, when Marion's family packed up and moved to sunny Miami, Florida. Here, Marion would briefly dance for the USO, but her father would forbid her from dancing professionally. Thus, when she was 17 years old, Marion would become a dance teacher, opening up her first dance school in the Miami, Florida area. Over the course of the next 2 decades, Marion would open 6 dance schools, truly becoming a force to be reckoned with on the East Coast. But she would end up falling in love with her hometown sweetheart and went on to retire her entire dance company. She wouldn't sell the name, instead she opted to give it to the students in her dance company.
This sounds crazy, but oh my god, from that image she kind of looks like Chloe. Like a little bit. Not entirely, but it's enough.
To Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and marry George Miller. Much like Abby, she had a hard time not working, so after only 6 months in retirement, she would found the Marion Lorraine School of Dance, which would later simply be called Rain Dance.
And at this studio in Penn Hills, this woman behind the dance school is really a frustrated hooper whose father wouldn't let her join a company. Revenge is sweet. She and her daughter produce dancers by the dozens. The love of tap has never left Marianne Lorraine.
When I'm frustrated, I just come into dancing school and get my tap shoes on and I bang my feet away.
The real question, so I never knew this. I know they're about to literally answer this, but like, how did the name Abby, did she name it after her daughter? Or did she name the school and then name her daughter? That's the real question I gotta ask.
That out of me. And then I'm happy and nice, and the moms can all tell you.
This dance studio would spur multiple prolific dancers, including Linda Lee, who Abby's surname was named after, and even the 1967's Miss Universe. This would cement Marion's legacy. Only 18 months after Marion founded her new dance school, on September 21st, 1965, Abby Lee Miller, Marion's first and only daughter, would be born. During her childhood, Abby Lee Miller would join the Girl Scouts, among a myriad of extracurricular activities. She roller skated, ice skated, swam, skied, and even sewed. But the one passion Abby kept turning back to was dance. Abby claims her mom wasn't a typical dance mom, never pushing Abby to dance and actually pushing her in the entire opposite direction. But Abby was persistent. In 1983, when Abby was only 13 years old, she discovered a flyer for a dance competition. Now keep in mind, it was around this time when competitive dance, especially for children, was actually being considered a sport. Abby was determined to win, and she actually did. She felt the power of her first win, and after this, she was truly hooked.
Because children's competitive dance was largely undocumented prior to Lifetime's Dance Moms, there actually isn't much information on the origin of where children's dance competitions began. According to their website, in 1978, deep in Charlotte, North Carolina, Showstopper was established as the first children's dance competition. Now, Debbie Roberts, the founder, had noticed her son was very into his various competitive sports. She observed the entire event, from the overinvested parents and the money they spent to the coaching and training, all leading up to the big performance, if you will, of the big game.
It's crazy they're just playing all these baseball clips from various media. What reason?
And owning her own dance studio, that dancers really wanted a place to do what they love, while still receiving feedback for how they can be their very best. Now, at the time, any dance classes for children were classified strictly as physical education, and not looked at as a legitimate competition sport. So Debbie saw a major gap in the market that she knew knew she could fill in the dance world. Thus, Debbie knocked on every dance studio's door in Charlotte, North Carolina, sharing her idea for a challenging yet celebratory competition for local dancers. And this is how the competition, known as Showstopper, began. Over the 80s and 90s, Showstopper, along with the entire world of children's competitive dance, would completely skyrocket. Elite competition teams would begin forming across the United States, pushing young children to be the best dancers they could be. But this had a very dark side.
I'm about to say,
Hollywood
like,
talent scouts
that
would
sounds
actually
insane.
take notice of this new craze and begin attending these competitions for themselves, making it much less of a fun, celebratory showcase for kids to show off the skills they learned in dance class, and much more a place for parents to market their children to executives looking to turn them into stars. The children's competitive dance world would go on to produce numerous Mouseketeers, and nearly every child brought into Hollywood to perform. The success of superstars like Britney Spears,
bitch,
who actually got her start in these early iterations of children's dance competitions, attracted an entirely new demographic to the children's dance world. Parents who wanted their child to be a star. This wasn't the crop of dance moms that Abby or Miriam were from. Miriam was known for teaching the best technical contemporary dance skills on the East Coast, not for creating child stars. She never even pushed Abby into doing dance and actually encouraged her to remain behind the scenes. However, a 13-year-old Abby Lee Miller saw the various teams competing at these competitions she was competing at, and she yearned to lead a team of her own someday. The next year in 1984, because of the child dance competition craze, Abby's mother would actually allow her to create her very own elite competition team to compete with the other teams. The only catch? It had to be free, and Abby couldn't turn anyone away, thus making it a nonprofit. Abby Lee held auditions for the very first iteration of the Abby Lee Dance Company when she was only 14 years old. Her dance team consisted of 14 girls and 1 boy. One of these girls being future dance mom and internet royalty, Kelly Hyland.
This is what I was thinking. I was like, they're building up to this. Listen, because all this is background. I did not know any of this stuff, and nor did I kind of really want to. But I knew for a fact that Kelly and Abby were on the same like dance teams and had like actual history. Anyways, continuing on.
I've been here all day making costumes.
Which makes what happened in season 4 so insane.
You were down the road eating. Stop eating. That's why you're fat.
You were a mean girl when you were 12. You're still a mean girl.
Back when she was only 8 years old. Now, a 14-year-old Abby would rehearse with her team night after night, very strictly attempting to lead them to victory at their first dance competition called Regency, and her team would take first place. Abby now had a hunger for winning, and this hunger would seemingly never satiate to this very day. The rush of this win showed a young teen Abby Lee what she wanted from life.
They did her dirty with that picture. Like, not this picture, but the picture after. Before, I mean, it was crazy.
Generation of stars. At night, Abby would command her dance team, but during the day, she was struggling at school, often letting her grades suffer in favor of her new dance team. And Abby Lee was exhausted. She'd stay awake to the wee hours of the morning, rehearsing, and have to wake up at 6 a.m. for school the next day. This caused Abby to develop multiple illnesses, including bronchitis. Her health would truly suffer during her youngest, most formative years. But she wouldn't let that stop her, leading every rehearsal even if she was violently ill. Abby showed her mother that the Abby Lee Dance Company meant business, and her parents George and Marion wanted to make her dreams a reality. All Abby wanted was to become a choreographer and open up her very own studio. Thus, Abby Lee's parents scraped the entirety of their life savings together in hopes of getting a loan to buy a plot of land to build Abby's dream, her very own dance studio. Abby would use her parents' life savings to apply at 3 separate banks for a loan. However, she would be turned down by every single one. However, Abby's saving grace would come when her father was telling his friend at the country club about her loan troubles. It just so happened that the man Abby's father was talking to owned the 3rd bank that Abby applied at. And after the bank owner heard of Abby's dream and persistence, he would actually go to his bank the following morning and alert the tellers that a young woman by the name of Abby Lee Miller would be coming into the bank to request a loan. And that even though her finances weren't up to par and she wouldn't be able to get the loan, to go ahead and approve her for $525,000. Thus, with the money in hand, Abby finally had the funds to build her
The real
dream.
question is how the
After an
financial stuff
extensive
happens
construction
later.
And even a
I'm actually curious about that because I've never actually knew the
Abby Lee
details.
Miller would open the doors to the Abby Lee Dance Company. The community from the surrounding Pittsburgh area would immediately pour into the studio, filling up each class and starting an entirely new generation of dancers. Only a few weeks after opening its doors, a young boy who was brought to the studio by his dad to watch his sister dance drew in crayons all over the walls. Abby Lee's father, George Miller, completely flipped out and banned the boy and his entire family from ever stepping foot in the studio ever again. This was the beginning of the strict rules of the ALDC, and as we all know, they would only get more and more strict as time went on. For the next
Okay, that's
3
interesting.
decades, the
I didn't know
Abby
about
Dance
that at
Company
all.
would create generation after generation of dancers. From Broadway to Disneyland, Abby Lee had trained hundreds of dancers with her strict, no-nonsense technical approach, taking her elite competition team
These are some-
across the United States.
How do they do
and
these
showing off the
videos?
skills
That was
they
definitely
learned
Brooke.
at various competitions. This would build a reputation for the Abby Lee Dance Company for having some of the cleanest lines and purest technique in the entire dance world. Each time the ALDC stepped foot on the stage, they would capture the audience's attention like no other. But behind these bent knees, perfect lines, and flawless angles was a very dark and troubling dynamic between Abby Lee and her dancers, one that would entrance television viewers for over a decade.
Oh, we know, honey.
In the late 2000s to early 2010s, John Corella, a dance teacher who grew up in the world of competitive dance, was spending the summer with Abby Lee Miller in Los Angeles. Abby had just competed with her new junior elite team in Las Vegas, and she was telling John about the star of her team, an 8-year-old girl who'd been dancing with the Abby Lee Dance Company for 6 years, named Maddie Ziegler. Now, we actually already have a chaotic web on the rise of Maddie Ziegler and how she was exploited by Australian pop sensation Sia. So if you want more on that, be sure to check the link below. Anyways, Abby's blatant favoritism of Maddie often caused drama amongst the mothers and other
Maddie
teams.
is like, all the kids are abused, but the way that she went, and I mean, like, I kind of feel this is the cycle in some ways, but the way she went from one abusive person, Abby, to another, Sia, is kind of crazy. It's just like no one in her life was looking at this. I don't know.
But Maddie took home first place more than any of them, becoming one of the most decorated dancers in the history of children's dance. John Corella, a dance instructor himself, wasn't blind to the strictness of dance teachers and the dramatic behind the scenes of the dance competition world. But the stories that Abby was describing sounded like they were straight out of TLC's newest hit show, Toddlers and Tiaras. John already knew that dance was successful on TV due to the success of shows like So You Think You Can Dance, America's Got Talent, and America's Best Dance Crew. Due to his own experience in the children's dance competition world, he knew the drama that could unfold at a dance competition chocked full of dance moms. Behind Abby's back, John would take the concept of a reality TV show centered around a dance studio to Brian Stinson. Brian Stinson fell in love with the concept of a docuseries following the children's dance world and the subsequent drama that would ensue.
Oh yeah,
So,
I forgot. I know too much lore about the show a little bit, but I know too little and too much. But yeah, originally it was supposed to be like a 6-episode docuseries, and then it's got popped off and made into an entire season. That's why the first season's like so short compared to the other seasons.
he brought it to TV producer Jeff Collins. And the timing couldn't be more perfect because Jeff was on the hunt for a new reality TV show to pitch to Lifetime. And a show that crossed between Toddlers and Tiaras and the Real Housewives sounded massively appealing to him. Thus, Dance Moms was born. At first, Jeff wanted to conduct a national talent search, so they put out casting calls across America to find the best mothers and young female dancers in the United States. But as the submissions twins came flying in, they realized that the mothers the producers gravitated towards were all coming from the same exact studio.
But once I was like, these are, I really like these moms. I really like the pictures of these kids. And they had sent me some video of the kids dancing.
The pictures of the kids came from me.
Maybe.
No,
okay.
they did.
A copy. So that's when I called John and I said, I think we can do a whole, show at this one studio in Pittsburgh. These women are great. These kids look amazing. I said, what's the dance teacher like? He said she's, and I was like, amazing.
A head case.
Really? Because we saw some footage of you teaching in the studio and you were like so good and it was so compelling. And the way you talked to the kids and how you hovered over them, it's like something we hadn't seen before. We were also there because we heard there was a lot of craziness.
Okay.
So there was a lot of drama there and we knew about it and we were hearing about it.
There's a lot of drama in a lot of studios.
And a lot of studios. And when you sit the moms down and you hear their stories and you hear about the history with the cast and the history with you, I mean, that is the gold in the show too, really is. When you throw a bunch of people into a TV show that don't know each other, it's not that compelling and people can smell that it's fake. And so I think right off the bat from day one, you have instant story and great story.
Real story.
Real story.
Yes.
Lifetime Network rented Abby's studio and hired her on as the show's choreographer. They would then draft up some of the worst contracts in reality TV show history.
Yeah, there's so much. I don't know how much they're gonna get into the stuff that in the contracts, but there's so much insane things that are in the contracts that is borderline illegal. It feels like at least it should be, but I think they're getting to it, but the contracts are insane.
Soon after, they started production on season 1 of Dance Moms. At first, Abby was not even included in the show as she was just the choreographer. Dance Moms was intended to document dancers and their mothers. However, after an explosive altercation during the filming of their first season, Lifetime knew Abby could be a huge star.
Yeah, and a little bit about that thing. Anyways, let me go back. Let me see if I can capture this lady's face.
Dancers and their mothers. However,
this lady, I believe her name's Dawn, a minister. As if you ever seen the first episode, she's a minister. And in the conflict, they're talking about, I don't know how true this is. I've literally only got this from hearsay, but apparently her child, the conflict in the show, the way they frame it is that she's a minister and she thinks her child should be wearing essentially like they make it sound like she wants her child covered up, right? In the most religious, respectful way, whatever. And that's how they frame it in the show. But apparently she was wearing t-shirts and socks, and she was taking her socks off as she was getting ready for class. Apparently, this is all hearsay. I literally don't know if this is true. She was taking her socks off, getting ready for class, and she wasn't taking off quick enough, apparently. And her teacher kicked her out. Abby or another choreographer. I don't know if it was her specifically. And so she takes it up to the head lady, and this is what comes from this. And of course, the editing in this show is crazy. If you there's so many moments they definitely doctored up, and we'll definitely get to that. Even if they don't mention it in this video, I'll talk about it. That we just have to. I just have to mention that because I don't know if they're gonna get into that, but that was all part of the reality show, bad editing to make everything look way more than it is and to make people look evil or whatever. So
after an explosive altercation during the filming of their first season, Lifetime knew Abby could be a huge star.
The kids never auditioned for the show. The original cast didn't audition. They sat in a chair next to their mother and they were put on camera because the show was to be 80% the moms, 10% the kids, and 10% the dancing. I was never even on the show at the beginning. It wasn't until there was an incident in the studio and I called the police and they, answered the phone and it was the dispatcher and he said, "Officer Broadway, what's your emergency?" And I said, "Is this really happening?" And then, he said, I explained there was a woman, she was psycho, running around the studio chasing me and chasing the children and scaring everybody. I want her out, come get her, it's my building, it's my property, get her off. And he said, "Does she have any weapons?" And I said, "Just her mouth."
Yeah, but I'm not saying, I don't even know, they definitely riled her up, I'm pretty sure, in filming, But but like as far as like how it started off, I would be more on her side. But then it took to a level, and there's stuff that I don't know either that might have made it even worse than what it is and whatever. But like that is essentially the inciting incident. So
Things that were wrong, he went after it. I'm not throwing her out.
Oh, yes, I am. And you with her. Go.
No, you're not.
Yes.
and then
Every week we put the trash out.
I love that. Anyways,
Then take yourself out, because you're the biggest piece of trash there is. Call the police. Go for it.
I'm sorry.
I thought you was gonna say go fuck
There's
yourself.
a psycho in every batch.
A psycho. Yes, her name's Abigail Miller.
And it was that footage that got back to Lifetime, and then suddenly I was on a show, and suddenly the whole world changed.
Abby alleges her contract signing was sinister. According to People magazine, Abby accused Lifetime Network of tricking her into signing a 4-year contract, quote, in the dark. While at a dance competition, Abby alleges that producers told her that she had to sign an appearance release form and said that all the other parents had already signed it. This, quote, appearance release was actually a 4-year contract with a 4-year option. Abby may have not been fully privy to what she was signing on to, but unbeknownst to her, she was the new star of the show. The new structure of Dance
listen, I
Moms-
don't doubt because producers on shows, let's get this straight, are evil on reality shows. Are evil, straight up. So I don't doubt this, but also I don't really trust her all that much. As far as some of the stuff that happens within the show, but
begin every episode with Abby organizing Brooke 13, Paige 10, Chloe and Nia 9, Maddie 8, Mackenzie 6, and Vivi 6 all into a pyramid of their performance that week. Performance was based on the stage, rehearsals, how
yeah,
they
like the
behaved
pyramid
towards
was completely fake. You know anything about Dance Moms? You know the pyramid was a staple throughout the entire show. Apparently, it's been said many times by many people who were on the show, and just like we all know that the pyramid was fake. Like it was something they never did before the show, and possibly don't even do now. So I don't know. I don't even think that she had a dance company still, but I might be wrong because there is like some kind of Lifetime Dance Moms something I think that was in the works at least a while ago. No, actually, I don't know. I heard that the dance studio building has been sold by like the original one in Pittsburgh.
Abby, and more often than not, based on whose mother she liked or hated the most.
It goes on behavior, work ethic, attendance, as well as have they followed all the rules. You know, all of that goes into who's going to be at the top of the pyramid and who's going to get to compete the next weekend.
She puts these kids in a pyramid. It's a nightmare. It is a nightmare for a child and an adult because we have to stand by and take it.
Everybody always wants to be on the top. Usually, if you're on the top of the pyramid, you're in the front line.
And on top of the pyramid is nobody.
I don't even know why I'm here.
I don't owe you an explanation.
You do. All you want is drama here. Why don't we just go on with pyramid?
No pyramid.
Can you put her picture back up?
You have to go.
Not possible.
No, just because a child
and
is on the-
also apparently the filming of this is another random fact. Apparently the filming of the pyramid took hours, which I'm like, I don't know. It's like I know there was many times where the producers within the show were like, you have to start a fight, you just have to, or we're not going to stop do this. I know there was many times, so I don't know if that was part of the reason why, but.
Top of the pyramid didn't mean that they were immune to Abby's strictness. She would often hurl verbal insults at the girl who made it to the top of the pyramid just to, quote, motivate them. The dark story of the girls and their mothers is going to be really deep dove into in part 2. Nonetheless, this video subject, Abby Lee Miller, would debut on television in a less than savory light, putting her students in what the public deemed as skimpy
Oh God, I hate this.
and even
I hate this.
culturally insensitive outfits. Each episode would cause
The fucking God, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about that episode until I did a rewatch of the show like a few years ago because I did not I did not watch the show originally when it was airing. I only started watching it when it like season 4. That episode's crazy. It's crazy, insane, because it goes too far. It goes way, way, way too far. Oh.
a new brand of uproar. And the first season, which only consisted of 6 episodes, would capture the world's attention, letting camera crews into one of the most hostile environments ever documented on reality television. Now, Abby's controversial teaching ways would spark outrage in the competitive children's dance world. And due to the uproar, Abby would lose her Dance Masters of America educator license. A rep for Dance Masters stated, quote, "Dance Moms is a total misrepresentation of our dance educators and their students, and is detrimental to the dance profession." Abby really didn't seem to care too much about this, as she was busy growing her little reality TV empire. She would have her own spin-off, Abby Lee's Ultimate Dance Competition, with Judge Robin Anton from the Pussycat Dolls. That spin-off would be the show that would discover prolific child star and karma singer JoJo Siwa. Lifetime would then launch Abby Lee Miller's Dance Studio Rescue, where she would go to various dance studios and bring their students.
I watched this. This season was dry. I did not like this show at all. that little like dance rescue. I also watched the Ultimate Dance Competition, but that one at least better. This one was like, it was like trying to do Kitchen Nightmares, and it just did not work. I'm sorry.
Sergeant Ways. She had become the face of dance teachers and had cemented herself in the reality TV Hall of Fame. Now, Lifetime wasn't actually paying the moms or Abby very much money, but they had all taken their chance to capitalize off of the show, all creating their own mini empires as well, including spin-off music careers, acting careers, meet and greets, and even live concerts. And it was becoming quite lucrative, especially for Abby Lee.
She's gonna go, she's gonna do the solo, it's gonna be good.
Fun, and we're all gonna have fun.
And my bank account ain't hardly empty. That's why I come through in a Barbie Bentley. So please, Mamacita, please no envy. When you come around, it reads no entry. I'm everywhere. You like Balloon Boy, mama, you was never there. Please, you can never compare to me. All these bitches is scared of me. I am who they couldn't even dare to be. So that's all for you, Abby. I go hard, pause, I spin a flow, get
This goes on for a while, I guess.
The president be like, it's all yours.
Soon, Dance Moms would even hit the road, traveling to various countries to conduct masterclasses. Abby was keeping every penny of this. Even though her empire was only growing, gaining more money, notoriety, and fame every day, it would all come crashing down.
Now, let's hop in the deep dive time machine back to when Dance Moms was casting. According to Christy Lukasiak, this was the end of 2010, when the then unknown dance teacher Abby Lee Miller would file for bankruptcy, claiming assets of about $325,000, but she still owed more than $400,000. The majority of Abby's debt was taken up by her $245,000 mortgage that previously went into default, and the $106,000 debt still left on her dance studio. Abby cited,
yeah, like if you go back, I don't know about all this, but there's like a lot of interest in like a lot of people talk about, specifically Kelly and Christy. They do talk about money. I don't know if this is season 1. I know specifically the one that I'm thinking about for Kelly was in season 1, but there's one other instance also in season 1 where Christy also said something about money. I just remember the one instance in season 1 where Kelly is like, and that's why I pay all my dance fees up front a year ahead, essentially. It's not really hinting at anything super sinister at the time, but like looking at it, you look at it, back at it in a different light. It's interesting.
poor attendance at her studio as a major reason for the bankruptcy, saying that when she opened the studio, it was in a bustling community. But over the years, all of her students now drive in from hours away, and it's become a rough area. Now, keep in mind, if we still go by Christy's timeline, this was around the time they were finishing the casting process for Dance Moms. And while at this point, Abby didn't technically intend to appear on the show in any capacity beyond being just the choreographer, it does make you wonder if Abby sensed a large sum of money coming her way. Anyway, when a person is going through bankruptcy proceedings, they have to report their earnings to the bankruptcy court through a DIP account. That way the courts are aware of exactly how much income a person is making while they are unable to pay their previous debts. Abby Lee's bankruptcy case was still pending when Dance Moms premiered, and her financial situation would change drastically. From the various appearances, merchandise, and even the minuscule amount of money they were making from the show itself. From 2012 through 13, Abby Lee Miller was raking it in. But instead of depositing her money into that DIP account like she was supposed to, she concealed hundreds of thousands of dollars in secret bank accounts. Now, Abby Lee did explain
That's
this was the time period she understood she was being taken advantage of, and how predatory her contract with Lifetime truly was. However, the level of Abby's money manipulation went far beyond just secret bank accounts. As amidst the iconic two-part special titled Dance Moms Down Under, Abby Lee Miller would even allegedly conduct an Australian smuggling operation. So like I've mentioned multiple times at this point, Dance Moms was blowing up, but I don't think I can communicate just how huge this show was and still continues to be. They were everywhere. Hordes of children wanted to meet them, be them, and buy their merch. Dance Moms brought a true renaissance to the world of children's competitive dance, especially after Australian pop sensation Sia would specially select Maddie Ziegler to star in the Chandelier and Elastic Heart videos. After the spotlight from Sia, the Abby Lee Dance Company would become the modern-day Mickey Mouse Club, each of the young girls on Abby's pyramid exploding in their own right, creating their own brands and meet and greets, some of which Abby had her greedy claws in, like Kendall's music career, or how Abby tried to claw her way into the Sia movie contract with Maddie just as she was making her timely exit from the ALDC.
Yeah, that Sia movie. I never watched
namely
it, but
Holly
apparently
and
it's
Christy, would attempt to keep Abby out of
something.
their business dealings, being career women able to recognize the dire straits Abby was seemingly in herself. Anyway, this conflict would continue back and forth throughout all of Dance Moms, but Dance Moms Down Under saw the beginning of it. The moms were already fussy about Abby being the one to put on all the meet and greets and getting to collect all the funds. This was all documented on the show, but behind the scenes, some alleged criminal activity was going down on the Australian border. According to multiple sources and even the criminal case against Abby, she was accused of smuggling nearly 120,000 Australian dollars across the border in her, quote, friends' suitcases. Now, keep in mind, this is highly illegal, as any sum of money over the amount of $10,000 must be declared in customs. While Abby claimed she personally had less than 10 grand on her, the same couldn't be said for her, quote, friends with her on the trip.
Ooh.
Now, I keep saying, quote, friends because multiple news sources at the time
I didn't know
actually claimed these
Kiera? I
friends
think
were
her
the
name is
Dance Moms.
Kiera?
And it would make sense in the Abby playbook to implicate them in her crimes. See, in Abby's perfect scenario, she would implicate her fellow cast members and not have to declare her large sum of money to customs. This was very important in Abby's bankruptcy case, as that large of a sum of money would need to be reported and could completely throw off her now 3-year pending bankruptcy. But what would be the incentive for the Dance Moms to smuggle oodles of money for the villainous Abby Lee through the Australian airport? The dynamic between Abby Lee and the Dance Moms, as documented through the first 7 seasons, is simple. Sure, you can pay a lot of money and get
I'm sorry,
Abby's
hold on.
7 seasons is simple. Sure, you
Look at this is funny as hell. This is not a meme. This should be a fucking meme plate. This is so funny. Like, I don't know why. It's something about this image is hilarious to me. I don't know how to do the I think it's Shift 4. Control Shift 4. I can't remember. Is it Alt Control Shift 4 or Alt Shift 4? I don't know how to do it. One second. This is stupid. I just want to see if I can figure this out. Oh, Control Shift S. Ah!
would need to be reported and could completely throw off her now 3-year pending bankruptcy. But could not have to declare her large sum of money to customs. This was very important in Abby's bank. A lot of money.
Why am I like
Limited
this?
through
Who
the first
knows?
7
I'm
seasons is simple.
truly just doing
Sure,
some
you
bullshit. Windows Shift S. I'm stupid.
Pay
I just need this in my life. I think it's funny as hell.
a lot of money and get
Okay, let's get back to
Abby
it.
teach your daughter basic dance. But if you do favors for Abby and go above and beyond, like Melissa or even Jill at times, she would give your daughter non-stop lessons, complete preferential treatment, and every single opportunity. Especially if neither the mother or daughter talked back to Abby or made issues for her. If private lessons were like diamonds to these women and opportunities were like gold, the solos Abby gave out each week were that one Cartier love bracelet everyone wants. And a solo at Nationals was the diamond of the sea. These moms would do anything for preferential treatment. Melissa truly becoming Abby's right-hand woman for multiple dance seasons.
And she worked at the
look where
studio
that
for a
got
while
Maddie.
too.
So were the dance moms above committing crimes for Abby Lee? I guess we'll never really truly know. Like, I knew Dance Moms was wild, but the visual of Kelly, Christy, Holly, and Melissa at the time sneaking hordes of Australian dollars in their luggage and going to the airport on some Born Identity type shit, like, my goodness. Anyway, going off of timeline, Abby and Kelly's infamous finger-biting lawsuit also happened right after this trip to Australia. Christy and Kelly both
Oh, that was.
were on the
I was
Australia
wondering. I was
trip.
like, when did the Australia trip happen? I was like, I don't know if Christy was there, but I guess that was before.
Both actually fell out with Abby and the ALDC over the course of the next year. And it makes you wonder if a scorned dance mom would ever make a call to the IRS or the government over how much money they felt their daughter was scammed out of on a trip to Australia. Would you do that for your daughter? Comment below.
I definitely see them doing it. I feel
Now,
like.
at this point, Abby Lee Miller had several spin-off shows and was being promoted as the mascot of Lifetime. You literally could not flip through channels without seeing at least Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition, Abby's Studio Rescue, or even So You Think You Can Dance. She was becoming a television juggernaut, especially in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, when on one fateful night, Judge Thomas Agresti, the judge of Abby Lee's bankruptcy case, was flipping through channels, and he stumbled across Lifetime. While becoming engrossed in the drama, he also couldn't help but notice Abby's lifestyle, and the fact that she was being advertised as the star of multiple Lifetime originals. Not to mention,
Are you
at
about to
this
tell me
point,
this
Abby
judge flipped through this goddamn reality television show and was like, something sus, and just like did something about it? That's crazy. I don't know if that's where they're going, but if that is where they're going, that's incredibly insane.
Had only been claiming around $8,900 in income from her dance studio. Judge Thomas Agresti was justifiably confused. Abby had reported that the show didn't renew her contract. Judge Agresti brought this to the court and questioned why money from any of the shows wasn't being included as a part of Abby's ongoing bankruptcy. This caused him to launch an investigation into what would normally be a very standard bankruptcy filing. On October 14th, 2015,
That's insane
over
that he
a
was like,
year
yeah,
after
that
the
don't look
incident
right.
in Australia, Abby Lee Miller would be indicted on 20 counts of bankruptcy fraud.
Don't raise your kid to be a snake.
She's the tough-talking reality TV star who lays down the law on Dance Moms. But this morning, dance coach Abby Lee Miller in real legal drama of her own, charged with fraud, concealing assets, and lying in bankruptcy filings. But according to the indictment, instead of declaring her new income, she knowingly concealed more than $750,000 in earnings from her hit TV shows, seminars, and merchandise sales in 2012 and 2013.
There was a scheme to defraud.
Miller allegedly sending an email to a business partner and her accountant with the subject line, "Let's make money and keep me out of jail," instructing them not to raise any red flags and don't put cash in the bank. If convicted, Miller faces up to 5 years behind bars and a $250,000 fine for each of the 20 counts in the indictment.
Abby Lee Miller had gone from being one of the most notorious TV show hosts of all time to being a criminal in the public eye. While the 2012 death of Broadway baby, Abby's dog did affect her, her
That's
mother's
crazy. I
death
forgot they
in
got that dog
2014
taxidermy. That's
flipped
crazy.
her world upside down. And this
Listen, I
criminal
understand getting
investigation-
taxidermy, but at the same time, like, I understand it, but at the same time, I'm just like, that's crazy. I only ever seen taxidermy. This is a random story, but I think I was in someone's house randomly, and they just had lots of taxidermy, but I cannot remember if I went or if someone else went. Anyways.
Was the cherry on top. This would send Abby Lee Miller into one of the biggest and longest breakdowns ever documented on reality television.
But also, I'm pretty sure her dog died before, like way before, the bankruptcy stuff. But I might be wrong. Or not the bankruptcy, but the like prison and all this stuff. But I might be wrong.
Over the next 2 seasons of Dance Moms, tragic event after tragic event would show Abby's truest and darkest colors. The biggest turning point for the show came during season 6. Amidst Abby's criminal investigation, TMZ would begin reporting that Melissa Gisoni, Kenzie Ziegler...
No, what's crazy? They said her darkest turn, but like, let's be real. Her darkest things were in season 4. Genuinely. And if you ask me,
most importantly,
get into it right
now. We're leaving Dance Moms and the ALDC. This spread across the dance studio like wildfire. Abby got the news and confronted Melissa about it directly.
So the rumors are true.
I don't know who got that rumor out because it wasn't me.
Right.
We've been here for a long time.
Why didn't you tell me before this? You couldn't call me on the weekend.
I didn't want to even think about it, to be honest with you.
Maddie Ziegler's superstardom and subsequent departure from the Abby Lee Dance Company represented a true turning point for Abby. She had lost her star student, the girl she'd been training since she was 2 years old, a dancer who'd taken home more trophies and national titles than any of Abby's students before her.
My mom always said that God works in mysterious ways. That's the way it goes. It broke my heart, but the show must go on.
Abby wasn't pumping the brakes on the ALDC. She was going full steam ahead, even taking the time to branch out to Los Angeles, California, and starting an entirely different studio. While this would remain today as Abby's only dance studio, this LA move would prove to be disastrous for the Abby Lee Dance Company Junior Elite team. The once somewhat reliable and hardworking Abby would begin locking herself in her office and not showing up to rehearsals at all. Where she used to be involved in every step of every routine, she was needing to tend to her other shows and legal proceedings, causing a series of dramatic run-ins with the various Dance Moms and production crew.
Are you coming to play?
No, I'm not working anymore, so.
Oh, golly. Abby decides not only is she not coming out of her back room to do Pyramid and work with the girls, she's not even getting dressed for the day. She's not inspired to do this work anymore. She doesn't want to lead the girls.
They have to dance because the show has to go on. I mean,
why? I have a right in this country not to work for you.
You know what?
That's crazy.
Go to Debbie Allen's studio. That's the other option.
Okay, that's good.
She's not interested in doing anything related to dance. And as a matter of fact, we might as well take our girls and leave and go to the Debbie Allen Dance Academy.
This is our studio. Like, when we go to competition, our back is going to say Abby Lee, and we're not even.
because she doesn't want us here.
Did she say that?
She did.
I don't see Abby.
See if we can get her out here. Is Abby back here? Abby? We're all here ready. Are you?
No.
You're not ready?
They're in my building with that camera back there while I'm sitting here without drum.
Oh, that's crazy.
Bedroom, get out.
Listen, that's crazy on production. That's insane. Again, reality TV show producers, demons. They make great content, but goddamn, you have to sell your soul to do it, I think.
Okay, you have to go. You have to go. Give it to me. Give me the camera. Come on.
So, Abby, did you come all the way to sit in the car, or are you going to come in? I mean, you did fly here today, right? Are you going to come in, or is this the plan?
Why show up to sit in your car and eat lettuce wraps? Seriously. Stay in your hotel room and do that.
She's lost her passion. Her passion now isn't dance, it's the almighty green dollar.
Do you still want to do the competition team or not?
No.
But you're here.
The money's worth it to the attorneys, not to me. I could care less.
In May of 2016, Abby would make a plea deal with the federal government, pleading guilty to all 20 counts of federal bankruptcy fraud, and even allegedly forfeiting all 120,000 Australian dollars back over to the government. Even though she pled guilty, Abby was still not sentenced to federal prison. She was in a limbo of not knowing how long she would be punished. Between her multiple trips out of the country while she was being investigated and various twists and turns in her court case, the viewers and dance moms alike speculated that Abby would get off with a hefty fine. But this couldn't be further from the truth. On March 27, 2017, the first warning signs of Abby Lee's waning freedom would emerge. Abby Lee would call out the 3 Dance Moms show producers on Instagram, stating that she would no longer take part in Dance Moms. Quote, "For the past 7 seasons, I have asked, begged, and even demanded creative credit for all the ideas, award-winning routines, themes, and costuming, to no avail. Today, I was so proud."
This is interesting. This quote is interesting to me because apparently on her podcast, I've not actually seen this. I haven't even seen clips of this, but apparently on her podcast, her and Gianna, which is the choreographer, like the dance, like essentially, I don't know how to explain it because I've never danced like to this age. Is like they say that Lifetime producers came up with all the ideas, at least in the early seasons, for all the ideas and choreography in the show. At least I know for a fact, at least in season 1, and then maybe season 2 and 3.
Routines, themes, and costuming.
But I don't know if that's actually true or not.
I was so proud that I went against the producer's idea once again to enter a command performance of one of my favorite numbers, Where Have All the Children Gone? I have a problem with being manipulated, disrespected, and used day in and day out by men who never took a dance lesson in their lives and treat women like dirt.
Yeah, but that is true because like I'm not a dancer, but the way they shot like some of the dance stuff, and also like there's like copyright music, I get that, they had to work around that, but the way they shot it was so freaking bad, especially for me, which was like not a dancer, but like just really like actually like I cared about the drama, but I also cared about the dances a lot because when I was a kid I really liked dance. I still do, at least as far as like watching it, and like they just shot it so bad. I'm just like, please, I want to see the full dance. Apparently there is some episodes that have the full dance, but I haven't watched that either. This is just like kind of like my like slight addiction in this show. I deep dive into the show, so.
For Abby Lee Miller, famous for her over-the-top screaming fits on Dance Moms. She's reportedly being replaced by Dancing with the Stars' Cheryl Burke.
Do you feel betrayed?
I am so happy that somebody else is gonna get the experience of working with these.
Miller's dance studio today was empty, with all the lights and camera equipment that once recorded her hit show gone.
They were here yesterday. I told them, get in, get your stuff, and get out.
Why would you quit the show now? You find out in a few weeks if you go to prison.
Satan.
That's her nickname for the Dance Moms producer she feuded with most.
I'm part of the reason he gets a paycheck. I don't want to make him one more dime. I don't want to make any of them one more dime.
Even if it costs you everything.
I've had it.
The moms would actually start hiring guest choreographers to teach their daughters new dances to compete. Even the original 6 girls becoming a dance team in their final season called the Irreplaceables, this time completely without Abby. However, Abby would meddle in this as well, using every connection she had in dance to blackball choreographers from participating in the show at all, even causing Debbie Allen to preserve her professional relationship with Abby by quitting as the elite team's choreographer through a very awkward phone call. During all of this, Abby's prison sentence was still up in the air. That is until May of 2017, when the federal courts sentenced Abby Lee Miller to a year and a day in federal prison.
Abby, just when you heard that sentence, what were you thinking? Take me back to that moment.
Almost went down. I think my knees buckled.
Let's talk about the emotions that you're feeling now. You're preparing yourself to have to go to prison for a year and a day. What do you do to get yourself emotionally ready for that?
I don't know. I've never done it before.
Are you scared?
No idea. Yes, of course.
What are you most worried about? What do you fear?
I fear the whole physical thing. Like someone's gonna make me run up and down steps or something if my knees are so bad.
That's crazy.
you know, you hear about different things in prison and a lot of, let's say, unwarranted sexual relations and things like that.
Oh, that's crazy.
That terrifies me.
The 45 days leading
That's
up to
crazy because,
prison
like,
for
we
Abby
all
Lee
know
Miller
she's rich
would
enough
be
to buy her
paid
way
on
into a
false
good
TV
prison if
show
she wanted to, I feel like.
promises,
But
some
maybe
truly
I'm wrong.
wild TMZ thumbnails, and tons of unhinged run-ins with the media.
I just wish that the world, every child who's ever watched, and every parent who's sat there and watched with their kids, they realize that I did something that was good.
That's debatable.
Don't sit there and look at your
I
TV
just
and
don't
say,
believe
"Oh,
this.
she's getting what
I'm
she
so
deserves."
sorry. There's so much in the show where she's straight up bullying children. It's one thing to be like mean to the moms or whatever, because they're all adults in some ways, so I can understand that. But the way she was bullying children. Oh. I don't know how that's fair to play. Anyways, the way she was bullying children in this show is insane. Like all her other stuff, there's a lot of stuff about her that's in this that I'm like, maybe you can make an argument for being like not her fault, it's on the producer's fault, but she also holds a lot of fucking fault, and I do believe she's a narcissist. So like, it's crazy to be like, I did something good. I guess the only thing you might have done good, maybe in a way, was like to motivate like children to want to dance, and that's the little, like, that's barely thing. Like, that's like, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's like, but otherwise, to the people on the show, I don't believe this.
She was so mean to those kids and so tough on them. Now she's gonna get it. I did a lot of wonderful things for those children. Let's not forget the wonderful things.
But she also did a lot of horrible things. She did good things and a lot of bad things.
You guys here for?
We're turning Ms. Miller in?
Miss Miller?
Yes.
On July 12th, 2017, after a lengthy and dramatic road, Abby Lee Miller would check into federal prison.
It happened at the federal penitentiary in Victorville, California. She will be housed in a minimum security unit. Federal prison consultant Jennifer Myers.
I think the biggest thing that she needs to watch out
This
for
is-
is not to be the Abby that she's been on the show sometimes.
I remember this in the
To
news
watch
so
out for
much,
being
but at the same time, I don't remember
because that can turn into
it
something
being
that
in the
you
news
really
this
don't
much.
want to experience.
And it's a good thing that Abby hired a prison consultant because prison would not be kind to her. Abby Lee claimed she was a direct target in prison because of the pain and hurt she'd inflicted on her students on national television.
The first day was the worst day for me. They tried to rip my eyelashes off that were extensions.
She says her thyroid and diabetes medications were taken away when she was thrown into solitary confinement after she says she was falsely accused of posting this photo of herself in prison with visitors.
I would have strange guards that were never in our unit, that I never saw before, walk in and ask other girls, hey, where's that dance moms lady? Where's that dance lady? I'm gonna get her. And then they come to your locker, they take a can of red soda pop, shake it up, open it, and spray it all over your clothes.
Now, in March of 2018, after nearly serving only 10 months of her sentence, Abby Lee Miller would be transferred to a halfway house, where she would complain to doctors about a severe pain in her spine. After 2 separate emergency room visits where doctors completely ignored her symptoms, over the next 24 hours, Abby's blood pressure dropped to 23/17, and her kidneys began to fail, paralyzed from the neck down. Abby's third and final team ran an MRI on her and discovered something that would change Abby's life forever.
Abby, all this was happening, but then you ended up in emergency surgery, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I never knew why she was in a
went
wheelchair. I'm gonna be
to
honest. I just like
the spine
knew something
surgeon.
happened,
People
but I
were
didn't know.
saying, oh, she's just trying to do it to get out of the halfway house. But I knew, no. This is like a real, like the pain, something is seriously wrong. And I told her, I was like, look, we need to admit you to the hospital now. I said, you can't go home. I said, we need to go to the hospital now. Something is not right. We got to get this MRI.
They found an infection in her spine. Doctors immediately ripped Abby out of her halfway house and strapped her to a stretcher. And as soon as they opened her up, they discovered a cancerous mass filled with Burkitt lymphoma. This would take away Abby Lee Miller's ability to walk to this very day.
After leaving prison in March 2018, Miller was ready to start a new life. But then another setback. She was diagnosed with Burkitt lymphoma, discovered after an emergency back surgery. What would have happened had they said, go home?
I would have been dead 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
You were that close to dying.
That close to dying. I was paralyzed from the neck down.
Miller endured 10 rounds of chemo and 2 surgeries. She still can't walk. One word to describe how different you are.
More appreciative. Thankful.
Now, while Abby was out of prison, she now couldn't walk. She was scooter bound, but this wouldn't stop her from yearning for her true calling. Yelling at kids to straighten their legs and ranking them on a pyramid of worth on national television.
Yeah.
Even after her tumultuous exit with Lifetime during 2017, she was out of prison and she paid all these fines. Honestly, she needed money. Thus, Abby Lee signed a new, much shorter contract for an 8th season of Dance Moms.
1, 2, 3.
We are Abby Lee.
This is our grand champion.
Yeah, this season I never watched.
Overall. Is there still hope? Abby Lee Dance Company. What studio are you in?
I've been given a second chance. Will this team have what it takes to carry on my legacy?
That's a crazy image.
This season would pretty
The
much
urn,
be an
or the
entirely
coffin,
new
I mean?
show. The only returning Dance Moms from the previous cast were Stacey Ketchman, Yolanda Walmsley, and both of their daughters. Otherwise, it was just Abby Lee and her guest star, Nickelodeon sensation and ALDC alumni, JoJo Siwa. Abby and Gianna, who is Abby's assistant choreographer, were actually involved in the casting process of this season, as Abby took a more titular role in the creative production of the actual show. However, season 8 of Dance Moms would not do the same ratings its past seasons had, and would end the show for good. So where does that leave us? Where were the elite team of the Abby Lee Dance Company during all of this? What about Kelly and Abby's finger-biting incident, arrest, and lawsuit? What about that awful Dance
They're
Mom
like,
Yolanda?
go watch
Or the
our
bullying
other
of
video,
Chloe? Or the
guys.
complete disrespect of Nia
Not to be
and
mean to
Dr.
them, but-
Holly? Or Maddie's extreme favoritism? Or even the numerous physical altercations and lawsuits the Dance Moms had amongst each other and Abby? More importantly, weren't the Dance Moms girls like 8 back then? How do they feel about Abby Lee and her extreme teaching methods now that they're adults? Isn't there some reunion where they all come for her and JoJo defends her? And most importantly, what about Christy's revenge? All of that and even more will be deep dived into part 2, where we dive into the Dance Moms and their daughters' perspectives of the rise and fall of the show.
Can you put her picture back up? She deserves to be on the pyramid. She was in the group dance.
She deserves nothing.
I'm not putting up with this crap anymore. Those 5 kids in there put your fat name on the map. She has more class in her little finger at 13 than you have in that big fat body at 45.
Did you just sit here and say that my daughter looks miserable, so maybe we should put Kalani in her place?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, this is just like basically coming next time. Now I'm torn because they do have, I'll give it a like. They do have the second one. They also have a let's see. They do have a I do want to see how long the Dance Moms reunion is. Cause I kind of want to see if I can't find it and watch it. They have one on YouTube, but that's not the original. And I'm trying to see if I can sneakily get there. But we'll see. If I can't get there, then it's fine. If I can't get there, we'll watch their video, and if I can find it, then I'm going to see how long it is. because I could watch it. I just had to sign into my face. It's so bright. God damn. I could watch it. I just gotta find the I gotta find the I had to like find my sign-in information because you can watch it on Lifetime technically for free, but you had to find this you had to find the sign in with your something your what like your thing your satellite connection or whatever, and my mom has one, but I had to get her information for it, and that's why I don't feel like doing it. Oops. They had Dance Moms Miami? That's crazy. I've never seen that. Oops, that's not where I meant to go to. How did I go to this even? Okay, I know I said I was not gonna watch this second video. It's an hour, and I kind of don't feel like doing it, but I really want to get into it because there's a lot of stuff they did not get into with the first one. Because the first one was just about Abby, but I really care about like the kids and the moms. I don't really care about Abby like that. Made for great television, but as a person, I just don't like her all that much. And some of the moms I don't like that much, but I have more sympathy for them than I will ever have for Abby. So let's see. We might not fully watch the whole thing just because I really do actually want to play Super Auto Pets. Just a little, like 1 or 2 games right now, but we'll see. Let's get into it.
You were 5th in the competition. You're 5th on the pyramid. Sometimes you act like a 5-year-old.
Can you put her picture back up? She deserves to be on the pyramid. She was in the group dance.
I actually forgot how much JoJo was actually abused in the show.
With this crap anymore. Those 5 kids in there put your fat name on the map. She has more class in her little finger at 13 than you have in that big fat body at 45. Get on the children!
Because you're an idiot!
There's so many things I could say to you right now.
Really? Really, Christy?
Yeah, okay.
Really?
Also, I don't know how much, this is a random thing, and they'll get to it when they get to it. However, Kathy, specifically, like the Candy Apples Kathy, if you know anything about this, she's a theater person. And I don't know if this is true because I don't necessarily trust any of these people because it is like, you don't want to be villainized on the internet because they will come for your ass. But she does seem theater, and she seemed like she definitely played up her part a lot, which, you know what I mean, might not be the best thing for anybody, which I still don't agree with her, but goddamn, she pulled the content in a way that was kind of funny, kind of goofy. Where Abby pulled the content where it's like, ooh, that's something you should not be saying or doing to a child. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
You're the chosen ones. You're skinny. You're pretty. You're blonde. You're telling me nobody at school hates you? Wake up.
Things are getting kind of tricky, but it doesn't mean much to a girl like me, because I can do things that you never
Why they love was where they play songs in this. I don't know. It's not. I didn't say did it in the other video too, but I didn't say anything because like I don't know.
Your kids won't stop. Holly is finished.
Hi, I'm Jake.
And I'm Shelby. And welcome to the Dance Moms Deep Dive.
In part 1, we dove into just how the ALDC came to be.
And how Abby's reign of terror would land her behind bars.
But today, we're going into the cultural phenomenon that is Dance Moms.
The dreadful pyramid.
The rise of the mothers and the daughters of the ALDC.
Their subsequent music careers. And how each of them were plucked off the team one by one.
Abby would create a team of dancers from the ground up.
With an reward system that would give her complete control over the young girls and their families.
But what if I
What
told
is the
you
worst
everything
part
wasn't
of
what it
all of
seemed?
this?
Dance competitions were faked. The
Yeah,
moments
yeah.
were rehearsed.
I forgot. I didn't forget, but oh my god, I didn't mention that's like, because there's like, if you watch that, like, there's a dance competition at least they make it seem to be every weekend, like every single weekend. Because like I feel like there's definitely like at least 1 week where there was no dance competition, but I don't know if that's true or not. But and so to keep up with that insane pace, they definitely do a thing of like faking the competitions. And on top of that, there is one competition in the first season that I believe, I can't remember what happened at. I can't remember what happened. I cannot remember now. I can't remember if a fight happened or if, I think, you know what it was? I think they messed, I think Abby, because Abby is like an insane favoritism towards Maddie, which is insane because she's very talented, right? But she like in so insane favoritism, she demeans the other kids for it. And I'm pretty sure in one competition in the first season, there she is, she like tries to like Chloe or somebody wins or Maddie or gets like a very good high score, and she thinks that's like that like Maddie, my perfect angel, she can't do nothing wrong. And so she herself goes and she like tries to like, get the scores changed. I can't remember this exact story. This definitely happened, but I don't know if this is for this specific one I'm talking about. And they and the judges go, no, you're not doing that, and they kick her whole studio out, and they can never perform at that particular dance competition, at least for the duration of the show. Maybe now they could technically, but I don't know.
The Dance Moms were fed lines.
But not just that, Shelby and I are exploring the dark underbelly of Dance Moms.
This is part 2 of a now 3-part series, so be sure to tune in next week for the finale of Deep Dive Dance Moms as we get into the complete and utter fall of the ALDC, hers on set,
and Christy and Chloe's revenge. But for now, let's take it back to 2010.
Yeah, they mentioned sex. I'm literally telling you the video before they say it, but oops,
making such big waves.
I did that because it was so bright. There's an infamous thing that happens in season 1, which is disgusting, and I've kind of mentioned it, where they dress the children up like children, genuinely under the age of 10, in very skimpy, very disgusting costumes. And apparently, there was one instance, this happened a lot in season 1. Another instance, it was Chloe and Paige's duet. I only know this because I just recently watched this, and they dress them up also in very skimpy costumes. And apparently the person who choreographed this was a sex predator, specifically children. And it's crazy that friggin' happened, because it's all disgusting. From like I don't even know. I don't even know what to say to it. Like genuinely, it's just really fucking disgusting.
Waves, it would inspire an entire TV show.
I can't. I really don't like that. It really, I hate that so much.
In May of 2010, the dance company Precision Dance performed a high-energy routine to Beyonce's smash hit Single Ladies, which caused extreme controversy. Many saying the outfits and dance moves were pushing.
Okay, listen. When this came out, this particular video, it came out when I was also dating these kids. And so I saw like a lot of controversy when I went to the comments back then on YouTube. And I was like, I don't get it. I was like also like 7, right? I was like literally 7 or 8 when I watched this. And I was like, what is this? And it's so, and I was thinking about this recently because I remember watching this video because it was popping off like I was an 8-year-old. And then, and I was thinking literally when I was rewatching, I was like, did this inspire what happens later on in the show? The weird, in the Dance Mom show, the weird costumes being really fucking skimpy? Because that is so weird. Because like who, like, Oh God, that's so nasty. I hate it so much.
The envelope for girls who were as young as 8 years old.
I just kind of don't want to show that. I'm
Recording
sorry.
of the performance
It's
was
really
uploaded
disgusting.
online, where the early iterations of message boards and social media lit on fire.
Yes, they're incredible dancers, but they're 8 and they're gyrating in these provocative moves. They're wearing outfits that could be at a club in Vegas.
Dance moms of Precision Dance would defend their daughter's performance, stating that the video was taken entirely out of context.
These girls were performing at a dance competition, and they weren't performing this for a worldwide audience, and so it's been taken
Like,
out
that's
of context.
not an excuse. Like that is not an excuse. That's so, no. You should, like, as a child, you don't understand what you're doing. You really don't. But as an adult, you should fucking be like, no, that's disgusting. And it's crazy when no one does it. It just, like, blows my mind, because I could never imagine, like, putting my child in that outfit and then going out on a stage. Like, I couldn't imagine doing that. That's insane.
And so if you keep in mind that this was at a dance competition and these are the kinds of routines that you see in that environment, then that takes away all of the negativity that's been surrounding this.
These costumes are provocative. The dance moves are provocative. This is inappropriate at so many levels. I don't even know how to wrap my mind around it.
It wasn't meant to be viewed by millions of people. The controversial news cycle not only
I also don't care if it wasn't meant to be viewed for millions of people. It's still, if it was being performed for one adult or even 10 adults in a crowd for, like, the judges or whatever, it's still weird. It's still disgusting. It's still wrong. I don't, like, you as an adult should be able to be look at that and go, that's disgusting, and then you're sending a message, whether you know it or not, to the wrong people.
Captured the general
I think it's
public's
over, but I'm
interest
gonna
in
wait for a
competitive
second
dance,
before I put it back
but
on.
It actually caught the attention of John Corella, a children's dance choreographer who thought there was a void in reality television.
Yeah, I
for
think it's over.
dance. But he didn't want to just showcase dance. He wanted to use the outrage baiting tactic of toddlers and tiaras, while also hooking viewers with stage mom drama and storylines similar to the Real Housewives. Now, John would take this concept to Brian Stinson, a casting agent who knew this idea could be a true hit. They would then approach Jeff Collins, the owner of a production company called Collins Avenue Productions. John, Brian, and Jeff, the three Dance Moms Mouseketeers, were ready to hit the ground running. But first, they needed to find the perfect cast. They would post up casting calls, auditioning mothers and daughters across America. Now, Dance Moms was never supposed to be centered around one singular dance studio. The original concept was supposed to follow a new mother and daughter each week, and then end the season at Nationals, where all the girls would go head-to-head with each other. But how did John get the dancers from the Abby Lee Dance Company's information, and how did they make it on the show? Well, if you remember the last video, Abby Lee was staying at John's house after competing with her dance company in Los Angeles. This is where she told him all the intense stories of the dance competitions they were attending, and how an 8-year-old dancer named Maddie Ziegler was wiping the floor with her competition. So John would actually put a casting call for Dance Moms in Abby's Pittsburgh studio for his docuseries titled Just Dance. Now, after posting this flyer in Abby's studio, Dr. Holly, Christy, Minister Dawn, Melissa Jasoni, Kelly Highland, and even Kathy from the Candy Apples would all see the audition. Kathy would contact her at the time friend Abby and ask if the audition was legit. Abby encouraged her to go for it, as they were longtime friends who both owned their own studios. To audition, the mothers would need to send in photos.
That's why I can't, like, that's one, like, they, her and Kathy, and, like, I definitely believe Abby hated Kathy, especially during the rest of the season. But at some point, at least during the first season, like, especially after, like, she leaves the studio, I just can't fully believe, and I might be wrong, I might be giving her a little bit too much credit, but I can't believe that she fully hates her. Like, Kathy fully hates Abby. That, like, definitely later on in the show, I can see where she, like, actually starts to turn hate into, like, resentment into hate, or, like, acting it up for the cameras to actual hate. But I just, like, don't, because Abby also just has a thing against other people who can dance and are dance choreographers in some way, or dance instructors, whatever. So I can believe that she hated her super quickly. Like, but I don't know that, like, are in her studio, at least. Not like dance instructors in general, but just in her studio, she hates that. But but like I don't know if she fully hated her just as soon as she makes it out to seem like she did. You know. Anyways.
Who both owns their own studios, and to audition, the mothers would need to send in photos of themselves and their daughters and also answer several interview questions. Now, the details of this story differ somewhat depending on if you ask Abby Lee or internet royalty Christy Lucazia. Christy explains that the cast auditions for the show just like any other contestant, and that the Dance Moms producers realized after they selected the cast that nearly everyone they picked was from the same dance studio. Now, Abby Lee seems to contest this detail and claim that the photos of the girls were actually on her website, and the three Mouseketeers of the Dance Moms production actually approached her.
I had spoken to Christy and Kelly and Melissa, and
how did you get their information?
They emailed the information. I talked to them on the phone
Because it was on my website.
I don't know about that.
It was
I don't
on my
remember.
website
Probably.
first. That's how they would have
Yeah.
known about it. But
Mostly because Abby's a
I
narcissist. That's why I don't want to fully
prior.
believe her. Because she wants to take credit for the kids' success so much. So I don't fully believe her when it might be true that the headshots were on the kids on her website. That I could believe that because I mean like they're her students and they were in a competition team. So I can understand that. But like I just don't believe that she wants to believe that she did it so bad. And that's also the reason why she tried to stay in touch with Maddie for so long as well. But I'm pretty sure she cut her out of her life. So
Casting. This is prior to any of the casting at your studio. But once I was like, these are, I really like these moms. I really like the pictures of these kids. And they had sent me some video of the kids dancing.
The pictures of the kids came from me.
Maybe.
No,
okay.
they did.
A copy. So that's when I called.
It's
Donna,
she's
said, "I
so
think we can do a
pushy.
whole,
It's insane. Like, what are we doing
show
here?
At this one studio in Pittsburgh. These women are great. These kids look amazing.
Oh,
So I said, look, we're developing this project. Would you be interested? And you were like, yeah. And it was great. And that's how it all started.
Little
It's
did
crazy.
I know.
Little did you know. And you guys had a flip camera, and I would ask questions, and Christy would go around with the flip camera and ask the questions that I asked her to ask you guys. She interviewed you. She interviewed the moms.
See, that I remember later, because she always tries to take credit for that. That I remember that later on, I was sitting in the den working on interview skills with the kids, and her saying, this guy needs me to get you on camera.
Yeah.
And I got an urgent phone call to overnight 12 program books.
Yes.
To some meeting or whatever.
So we had your program book.
They're
and the
impressive.
production.
You can make anybody look good in a picture. Yes.
They're amazing pictures.
Yes.
Can't look away from these pictures in this book. So that was used to help sell the show along with this little 3.5-minute sizzle just from the flip camera footage. And not only was it Abby, not only was it the moms, but it was like the kids. They all, I've said this a million times, but they all had these perfect faces, these perfect little faces.
Mm-hmm.
And out of this tiny studio,
wasn't that tiny.
Wasn't that tiny, right? In Pittsburgh,
a lot of taxes.
comes all these stars.
Like she sounds like Donald Trump. Wasn't that tiny? Listen, guys, wasn't that tiny? Which is just a marking of a narcissist. In my head. I don't know. It just seems like it's like the little details that are like you don't really need to harp on about.
Abby Lee Dance Company as the location and subject for this new show, instead of following a new girl every week, would not only save the production company millions of dollars, but it would also create multiple new layers of storylines. See, Toddlers and Tiaras often focused on the outrageous antics of the parents in the children's pageantry world, but the show was missing a major element of interpersonal conflict, failing to really show the full underbelly behind the curtain of child stardom. But because Dance Moms would only follow one group of girls, aka the junior elite team at the ALDC, the show was actually able to document not only the ridiculous work conditions and stress these children were put through, but also the long-standing dynamics, chemistry, and drama already brewing amongst the team and their parents. Producers were sure they had a smash hit on their hands, but when they learned of Abby Lee Miller and asked the various mothers to send in videos of her, that's when they knew they had struck a reality TV goldmine. Not only would there be the typical Real Housewives, Toddlers, and Tiaras drama, but Abby added a Simon Cowell essence to the show, generating animosity between her and her dance troupe, as well as the mothers. Lifetime was now looking at a storyline with over 4 different perspectives, and that could truly be taken in any direction. If a viewer wasn't outraged that the children had to go through this, they were outraged
Why
by
they keep
Abby.
showing
If you were
this?
outraged by Abby, you were outraged by the children's mothers. And somehow, if you weren't outraged by any of it, the dance moms and Abby would be outraged for you. Jeff Collins and Brian Stinson had stumbled upon the most intense, dramatic, and strenuous dynamic of any reality TV show, all hidden away in a small Pittsburgh dance studio. Now, at the time, the ALDC was known on the East Coast for creating some of the best dancers the world has ever seen. But Jeff Collins and Brian Stinson were about to create an entire phenomenon out of the suburban hell these children were living through. And the Dance Moms contracts would be making a deal with the devil.
But yeah, the contracts are horrible. But also,
now that Collins Avenue Productions had found their star
I really
cast,
was not making
they
this
needed
better.
to lock them into a contract so they could start shopping the show to various networks. First, the moms would sign an attachment agreement, which basically means that they agreed to do a certain amount of episodes as a trial run. If the show does well and the network picks it up for additional seasons, they would then be attached to both the production company and the network until the length of their contract is completed. Now, you would think this all sounds very standard. However, for the dance moms and the kids, this is where the exploitation first started. Usually when a
I would say
contract
that
is
does not sound.
presented-
Like, it sounds standard in the sense of like that's what they do, but it doesn't sound like right. Like I feel like there should be a contract that like says you'll do this episode for this many episodes for a trial run, and then if you decide during the trial run you hate this, then you can leave, or if you want to stay, we can attach you, and then you sign another contract. But like maybe I'm too naive.
Both parties would have legal counsel who would review it to ensure no one is getting taken advantage of. But according to the moms, right after being cast, they were immediately presented with a contract, giving them no time to have an attorney look it over.
It was like 6 episodes, and they're like, if you don't sign this paperwork right now, you're not going to be on it. And we're like, I remember calling Kelly. I'm like, are we signing this?
Well, Jess, no one knew it was going to be such a phenom. Each season, really, we never really knew how many episodes they were going to shoot, at least early on. Like, it just kept going and going and going. And, we'd sign on for 6 episodes. We would shoot up to 36 episodes a season.
You must have been exhausted. Yes. Well, that's why we were crazy.
Now, at the time, the moms didn't really think this was a big deal, as the show originally was supposed to be a docuseries, and they didn't think anyone would watch it past the 6-episode trial run. So they signed the contracts. What they didn't fully comprehend was that they were signing on to a lot more than just a trial period. If the show was successful and renewed, they were now contractually obligated to complete 6 full seasons, which is just about 7.
I might be wrong, but I thought the original one was 4 seasons. But I might be wrong. And that's why Chloe and Christy left in season 4, but I might be wrong. There's also, I know enough about this, but there's also like there's a contract in there that if any of the girls and their moms left, they could no longer essentially dance anywhere else to go against them, which is interesting. Is it interesting?
7 years worth of filming. The original girls who were cast on the show ranged in age from 6 years old to 10 years old. Their moms had basically just signed away their entire childhoods to a production company, keeping them stuck in a toxic and environment that they would be unable to escape from for years.
Everybody who signs onto a television show signs a contract.
Yeah.
You do, and you can't just come and go whenever you choose. So that's always a big deal when someone wants to leave. So yes, they were under contract.
You would think child labor laws would have protected the girls from such an extreme
Yeah, and that's
contract
also
that
why
bound them to a TV show for 7 years. But unfortunately,
that's also why in season 2 there's like a strike that goes on, and they make it seem like it's because Kelly and her kids aren't back, but it's really because they were not paying them, or at least not well enough, and that's why they go on a strike, and that's why they do it.
Shows like Dance Moms fall into a gray area when it comes to child performers. Plus, the show was filmed in Pennsylvania, which has much looser laws compared to states like California or New York. Now, the show was picked up by Lifetime Network, where the season 1 trial run began airing in 2011. The show was an instant smash hit, so Lifetime would immediately order additional seasons. And just like that, the Dance Moms and their daughters were officially stuck. Aside from how the contracts were signed and the long length of time being obligated to film, the salary the cast was paid was absolutely abysmal compared to the success of the show. Christy claims she only made $600 for the entirety of season 1.
That's crazy. I thought you were saying for the entirety of the entire season of the show. I was like, girl, oh my god.
For the money. That wasn't money. I made all the money. That's why she went, you know. I'll tell you how much money I made in season 1 of Dance Moms. Yeah, you will die. Yeah. And the kids didn't get a paycheck. We got one paycheck and had to split it. $600. Like, think about that. Yeah. The Kardashians.
According to multiple reports, the girls were each paid only $1,000 an episode. And according to multiple cast members, in the beginning, the moms and daughters would have to split the earnings.
I can tell you what I first started getting paid. So we signed a 7-year contract with Lifetime Television, and my mom and I split a contract of $500 a week for maybe 2.5 seasons.
It seems like robbery to me.
No, it really is. Reality TV is so
like
underground. Like I don't even want to get into it, but reality TV is not what you guys think it is. It is not lavish whatsoever. We got treated like animals. We obviously didn't really get paid enough. We were filming 60 hours a week for a 45-minute episode. Like, from 8 a.m. to like 10:30 at night, we were at the dance studio filming. By the time the show really got started and was in like 150 different countries, our moms were like, okay, we need child labor laws. Our children need to be in school. They need time to eat. They need time to sleep, and they need to get paid for the work that they're doing.
The show also made loads of money off merchandise that used the cast's images and likeness, but the actual cast was only entitled to a measly 1% of those earnings. Now, eventually, it looks like
insane. No, because like the first couple of seasons, they don't really talk. They don't really like have uniforms because, especially in the first season, they're just like starting off or whatever. But in season season 4, that's when I started actually wearing uniforms a lot. And I was not gonna lie, I wanted one, but I couldn't wear it. But I wanted one.
There were some contract negotiations where the amount the girls were paid jumped to $2,000 an episode, and the moms seemed to make somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000 an episode. Production and the network would also start paying out bonuses for every completed season and when the cast participated in reunion or holiday specials. But keep in mind, these negotiations were years into the show airing after millions upon millions of dollars had already been raked in. The cast was able to utilize their newfound stardom to make money outside of the show, but this too was impacted by the Dance Moms contracts.
Does their contract require you guys to have a say in the things they do outside?
It doesn't require. Yes, it does. It requires them for us to have a say in anything that they would do that might be televised or put on the internet. Because not so much us, meaning me, but the network. Because these are young people, and we wouldn't want them to be doing or being associated with someone that might portray them in a light that could be very negative. So yeah, we're involved. We have a say in that. Yeah.
In this video, we are going to get into some of the extreme abuses of the girls on Dance Moms, but many have asked through the years why they didn't just leave. Well, aside from being contractually obligated to stay, in the agreement, it states that the girls are barred from dancing at other competing
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. If they left before their contract was over, they could not dance anywhere else and or compete specifically against them either. I don't know if it's compete against specifically Abby Lee's company or at all. I can't remember. I think they're gonna say.
Goes until the 6 seasons are completed. This was just another way to keep the girls locked in, because if they did leave, they would have to completely quit their passion for
And that's also why Chloe came back in season 7, because she couldn't, like, even if she wanted to come back and like, because she lived in season 4, even if she wanted to come back and like say season 6, she couldn't, because she couldn't like because she wouldn't work, because at least her mom and her wouldn't work with Abby, so that's why it was in season 7.
Dance.
Dance teachers all over the country are thanking me for saying everything they wish they could say and they can't in their own studios because they would lose their business. See, that's kind of what
I just don't believe that.
Students, I tried to
After learning that her like freaking certification got taken away, I don't believe that.
The mother I tried to expel, I had just had it up to here, and you could probably guess which one it was. But anyway, Lifetime called me and said, you have a contract. She has a contract. You cannot throw her out of the studio. You have to put her back in. So
yes, this is her literally saying, I was like, she literally says she treated Chloe so bad because she quite literally, basically, hated her and her mother, but she couldn't throw them out. So she was like, yeah, well, I'm going to just treat them however the fuck I want, essentially. It's just very disgusting, genuinely. It is like I get like maybe hating her mom, but treating a child like that is insane. Especially like what happens and the reason why she ends up actually leaving.
then a bell went off, and I thought, if they can't quit, or I mean, if I can't throw them out, they can't quit.
Right.
So no matter what I say to them, they can't quit. So I just go for it.
Are you
And
There's a real place.
that's like so abusive and disgusting, and that's why I can't get behind any sympathy for her.
No, it's coming from a real place.
There was also an entirely different contract that the mom signed with Abby Lee Miller herself. This was apparently a contract for the elite dancing team.
Now, because the Dance Moms contracts were so airtight, Abby Lee felt like she could do and say whatever she wanted.
Can't stand that I have to sit here and wait for this woman to come in here and berate us. Abby's gonna come in here. It's going to be awful.
Nice job, Chloe. Huh?
I'm done. This is not what I signed up for. Humiliation for my daughter.
I didn't humiliate her.
Yes,
She
you did.
humiliated herself.
Abby, shut up.
I'm just this girl. She doesn't even say my name. And she's being really mean to her. During rehearsal, Miss Happy really isn't acknowledging me and like saying my name, and that kind of really hurts my feelings because I'm still a person.
If you want me to remember your name, then you need to prove it to me. Make me remember.
That's crazy because they're children. They're children, woman. It'd be one thing maybe in like adult people, and even that is still so demeaning. It's like one thing if like it's adult people or something, but like no, even still, it's like really wrong.
Anything to get their daughters opportunities, it created a game of chicken on national television. Abby encouraging the mothers to leave if they didn't like her abusive teaching methods, knowing full well they are locked into that contract with Collins Avenue. Each episode of Dance Moms would begin with a pyramid of the girls' headshots.
At the beginning of each week, I have kind of like a pyramid thing. Everybody wants to be on top, of course, but you have to work for it.
It's a nightmare for a child and an adult because we have to stand by and take it.
Usually, if you're on the top of the pyramid, you're in the front line.
Now, at first glance, many may think this was just to measure skill and talent, and that was a factor.
It goes on behavior, work ethic, attendance, as well as have they followed all the rules. You know, all of that goes into who's going to be at the top of the pyramid and who's going to get to compete the next weekend.
But the higher Abby put your headshot, the more she liked you. The more the girls and their mothers would blindly obey Abby, the higher their pictures would rise. If your mother asked a question, or Abby just wasn't feeling you that day, even if you got first place in a competition the day before, you would be at the bottom of the pyramid. There are very few consistencies to the pyramid, and how Abby ranked each girl week after week.
The only consistency is quite literally that Maddie had 60 some odd times at being top of the pyramid, and for reference, the second highest was like I think 15, which is like, come on.
But we never before had a pyramid actually in the studio, but I think it represented the idea in her mind of who was on top and who was on bottom. as arbitrary as it could be. I think the pyramid always existed, but it wasn't in a visual format.
Right. After season 2, they were like, oh, this pyramid's just for the show. So, but I think in the beginning it did bother them.
And then they figured out that the producers were the one that actually made the pyramid. And sometimes we would wait for hours to go into pyramid because Abby would be fighting with the producers. And then, the pyramid, then we'd stand there for 5 hours, literally. That was the worst day of the week for the girls and for us. And
All the fights happened on Pyramid Day. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
But it always started with Abby being angry with the producers because she didn't like either a storyline or the title of, because that's when she would give out, you have a solo, you have a duet, these people are in the group. And the producers would determine that, and Abby never agreed to it. She always wanted to change their plans, their pyramid, their solos. So we would wait, we would come, sit, ready to film, and sit there sometimes for hours waiting for Abby and the producers to quit their fighting and arguing. And how many times, guys, did she storm out, get in her car, pull away, and we're sitting there.
And there was a disagreement about who would be placed or who would get a certain assignment, more so because if it wasn't a directive, then some kids would never dance and would never see other spot on the pyramid except for the bottom. So I think there had to be someone else looking out sometimes, because otherwise some people would be absolutely neglected.
Yeah, you're right,
Agreed. Very much agreed on that.
But there was one very common theme. For 64 out of the 126 total pyramids she was a part of, Maddie Ziegler, aka Abby's favorite, was given the highest rank. See, unlike Maddie, the other girls were still getting their education at a normal school. But to get Maddie further ahead, Melissa took Abby's advice and homeschooled her daughters. That way, Maddie and Mackenzie could spend day in and day out training at Abby's dance studio.
They love using Nickelodeon and Disney songs. I don't know why.
This not only caused Maddie to fly leaps and bounds ahead of her teammates, but it also caused Abby Lee to create a very close family-like relationship with the Zieglers.
Oh God! Oh why? Why would they
The
show
mothers
that?
who
I
did
hate that
favors
so
for
much.
Abby and didn't talk back to her were rewarded with solos and opportunities for their daughters in exchange for major discounts on their sometimes daily lessons. Melissa Ziegler, Maddie's mother, would become Abby Lee Miller's personal assistant and receptionist, doing odd jobs in exchange for preferential treatment and dance education for her daughters.
Everyone would say, if you don't like it, why didn't you get more privates? We tried.
Yeah, we couldn't get them.
We couldn't get them because Melissa was the one scheduling them.
Yes.
Like, Chloe had a standing
We
private
tried.
with one teacher for years.
Even when you had a standing private, they were eliminated.
She would take it.
Melissa and I just wish Melissa would be honest with the whole competition thing, but she always says, oh, it doesn't matter to me, But as soon as the cameras are off, she is a totally different kind of a dance mom. She's a stage mom, she'll do anything to get her kids ahead, but when the cameras are on, she always plays that, oh, I'm really nice and I just want the nicest things for all the kids. So that is what makes me angry with Melissa, because you don't get to be on national television and your daughter be the star when we all know what you're really like, and then play this I'm so sweet thing. So I try to call her out on that, and as soon as the cameras are off, is she not? She's the worst one.
Listen, I hate that because her daughter seems sweet, but like goddamn, she does seem like there was so many times on the show she's just shady as hell, and it's like, why are we doing this? Like why are we doing this?
Look a lot different than I really was in real life.
Well, this person pretended to be so sweet and be so kind.
My little Paigey, just love it.
And help me out at the front desk. And then hold my mother's hand as she's dialing. And I find out later that she went bankrupt for $3.2 million. Had I not had the forensic accountant
I wouldn't know that somebody was nipping off the top. You know, you tell people, oh, so-and-so's tap shoes didn't come in, and the tap teacher's getting really upset. So I just bought her tap shoes. You'll see the receipt in the book. I paid for the tap shoes. We like receipts. But you look in the book and there's a receipt written out. But when the credit card cashes out, it's way off. I paid their tuition because they were behind. So I just paid it. She cleans my house. I just paid her tuition. Yeah, you wrote yourself a receipt out, but you never put your credit card through the machine. Wow. So, and that went on and on and on and on.
She would even allegedly get Abby and her assistant choreographer Gianna extravagant gifts like Louis Vuitton bags. Maddie Ziegler was in a different league than her fellow teammates, and Abby wouldn't let them forget it, constantly comparing her young students to that of her perfectly trained dancer, Maddie.
Just delirious by that point, and if I would have competed right after Maddie would have won.
The woman, all she wants to do is knock you people down because she
You
doesn't
people.
like me.
I don't know why it's so insane.
She says we're jealous of Maddie. She's jealous of us because we don't need her approval.
Maddie was still only 8 years old, and the responsibility of having to be perfect at all times and being compared
And you
to
can
her
tell
fellow
because there's a whole
teammates
episode
would
where like
definitely
she
take
like
its toll.
I don't know. They definitely edited this episode. I forget what happens in it,
Does she
but they
puke on
edited
the
to make it
thing?
look like Maddie like forgot her dance, and then she runs off stage. It's like very early in the show, and she runs off stage. I heard they edited it to make it look like she didn't finish, but she actually did. I don't know if that's true. I haven't looked into it, but I heard that. But anyways, like she has like a full on like panic attack about it, like as like a 9-year-old, and that's a level of stress that no kid really should have on them, especially when you have an adult hounding at you. It's one thing to be like, I want to perform as a child, and you have like stressful moments or whatever, especially in something as competitive as dance. But it's another thing to have like a whole adult woman also hounding on you about this. It's like really, really weird and like disgusting, especially when she compares you to everybody and you have this perfectionism. Now, like, you're trained to, like, only want perfectionism. And if you don't get perfectionism or you get less than perfect, you're trash. There's a horrible mentality.
Maddie, I know you're not feeling well, but suck it up. We got to get through this, okay?
She looks green practically and pale. She looks horrible.
She's crying.
Sweetie, why the tears?
Because my stomach's hurt.
See that picture? That's the position you need to be in.
Like, exactly. Like, this is way too much pressure.
It looks like she's going to throw up. Go. Stop crying. Stop acting like this. Okay, stop crying. It's making it worse. What do you mean? You never leave dance, Matt.
Now, because Maddie was on
Also,
top of the
in
pyramid,
in that same scene, at least, they have, like, a whole scene in it where, like, or, like, an interview with Melissa, and she goes, "This is something I hate more than the sick kid." And I'm sure they edited it to make it look wrong and bad, but goddamn, that's a thing to say, you know? That's a thing to say about your own child, even.
a majority of the time, she would also be given the most opportunities by Abby out of anyone. If there was a casting agent calling Abby from Nickelodeon looking for a kid to put in a show, Abby Lee was quick to give it to Maddie. The other girls and their mothers all saw this happening and were admittedly jealous and envious of Maddie and her opportunities. This would cause them to follow Melissa's method, do anything they could to either get points with Abby or to throw their fellow dance moms and their daughters under the bus.
You know, I love you. And when those women say bad things about you, it hurts my heart. And it hurts.
I love this. Look at her face real quick.
You. And when those women
She goes, I don't care. I don't get this, and I kind of don't care. I love this.
bad things about you, it hurts my heart. And it hurts Maddie's heart too.
He's like, it's funny when she says that because like she just looked away like, I don't care. I just don't care.
I just walked right out of the room. I was like, I'm embarrassed, so I need to leave.
How these kids disrespect you too.
Understandable.
Chloe rolls her eyes in class all the time.
I know.
What I'm upset about is that Chloe
Yeah, like that
leaves
is
class early
shady.
all the time.
That's shady to a child. I'm sorry. It's shady to a child if you're not reprimanding them in a way that's like, isn't it to be like, I'm tattling on a child? Like, for brownie points, like, what are we doing?
On Monday, she went to the doctor's, and Kelly, Christy's so-called best friend, which they're not,
called me and said, oh, Christy's taking Chloe out of school early today. Take her to the doctor's, and then she's taking her to the movies.
Melissa, who cares what they think?
They're just jealous of our relationship, and they
And
gotta get
also,
over it.
this whole conversation to me shows that she's definitely shady. She's definitely shady. She's not like, I don't know, maybe she is, but as far as on the show, I wouldn't think she's any more or less shady than anybody else, but she definitely does some underhanded things, and she can't act like she doesn't.
I have her best interest.
You always have my daughter.
Where did she go?
This created a toxic pressure cooker that few adults could withstand, much less a child. But because of their contracts, they couldn't leave, even if they wanted to. This couldn't be more true for a 9-year-old dancer named Chloe and her 34-year-old mother, internet royalty Christy Lukasiak. Abby Lee Miller would mentally torture a 9-year-old Chloe, all in the name of her mother. Across nearly 5 seasons of Dance Moms, always pitting Maddie, her star student, against the quiet and vulnerable Chloe, who was always just trying to do her best.
Abby sent Chloe for a title at a competition and didn't have Maddie entered. Well, Melissa heard about it and went down and did it.
Chloe has nothing for her solo, and Maddie's solo is done. We talk about the kids getting very little time and attention compared to Maddie. I say I feel defeated. Then we talk about how Melissa's role, like how she contributes to the favoritism. What kills me is Melissa plays the I'm so nice part, and I say when she's the sneakiest, most underhanded person of all of us. She takes music producers out for coffee. She takes judges to lunch. She sends gifts to the competitions in America. And everybody is, you guys are nodding along because I'm not saying anything that we don't all know.
She was not in the Freaks Like Me video because Abby said if that she put Chloe in it, she wasn't allowed to have any of the other girls in it.
Competition after competition, Chloe would get second place to Maddie, always being told second is what? The first to lose. And if Chloe dared show an emotion or get upset about it, Abby would retort for her to save her tears for the pillowcase. This was for all the young girls at the Abby Lee Dance Company, with the exception of Maddie, who was nearly never corrected when she cried and was at times allowed to do whatever she wanted.
Let's go in the hallway. I'm not going anywhere.
Just one.
My daughter's happy. Let's go in the hallway. Do you want to talk about all the things that need to be talked about?
Not here,
because
not now. This is
you
the
won't
weekend.
talk about it, and you won't talk about it. I won't ever talk about it. You're making my daughter cry, so shut up.
Talk about what?
Yeah, how many times has my daughter beat your daughter this year? Fight. My weight was stacked against everybody this weekend because you did it.
This dynamic was openly recognized on the
Yeah,
show.
no, the whole
by
thing
Abby
is
Lee,
toxic.
the mothers,
But
and
like,
most
everybody has a role to play, and I think everybody's, at least of the adults, are to blame. But there's definitely a level of like sabotaging it to like whether it be the producers, Abby, or any of the moms. Like they're definitely like making like situations like that look even worse. Like because of everything you don't see, they either edit out or like that you just don't see because they're doing stuff behind the cameras.
Tragically, the young girls, who never felt they could live up to the greatness of Maddie. Out of the 85 episodes she was featured in, Chloe was on top of the pyramid 9 times. But just because you made it to the top did not mean you were safe. Abby would ensure that their week was extremely difficult, giving them the true Maddie treatment.
I know you all are wondering, how could she be on top of the pyramid? Not only is she going to do a solo this week, and not only should she win, I demand that you win. Peyton, we all know everyone is replaceable. You were not the right replacement for this group.
Even going as far as to sabotage their routine, so they would make a fool of themselves at the top of the pyramid, thus giving Abby a reason to never put them at the top again. Or even worse, put them on probation. Now, Abby putting a girl and her mother on probation is pretty much self-explanatory. Labeled on the pyramid that would make your week a social nightmare. Abby and the moms she was linked up with would often shun the mothers and daughters on probation. Abby's excuse for this was to test if after being benched and mistreated for weeks, if the mothers and daughters would stay or quit. This often ended in the daughter quitting the team, some to return, others to never come back again.
Isn't that crazy that children look like children? She's dressed appropriately.
You're the minister. Out of the room. Out. Out. Reagan, goodbye. Out. Out.
I'm not throwing her out.
Oh, yes, I am. And you with her. Go.
No, you're not.
Yes. Every week we put the trash out. Go.
Does it not hit in your head that maybe you're wrong?
No!
Abby's favorite
That's
saying during
crazy.
The
They
pyramid
keep
was,
showing
"It's
this.
difficult to get
I'm
to
sorry.
the top of the pyramid. It's even harder to stay there." After the pyramid, the girls would be thrown directly into rehearsal, where they would be given only 2 days to learn their routine. Now, this wasn't
Sometimes like a
always
day
the
and a
case,
half,
as the
really.
girls Abby liked often performed routines they'd already practiced for months before. But the girls who Abby didn't care about or who fell by the wayside, they'd be thrown into a routine, have to learn, rehearse, and clean it up in a week to 2 days, all while Abby was verbally tearing them to shreds. The show would document the behind-the-scenes drama, interview the moms with pointed questions about each other, and stitch together an interweaving storyline that was more times than not somewhat contrived. All of this drama leading up to the showcase at the end of each episode. Then they'd have to compete with these inadequately rehearsed routines against girls who'd been training for months, all in front of the entire world on national television.
And while some of those
Executives looked over the first
competitions were
season of
fake, the fact that they even won, like assumingly some of the real ones, is also insane considering they practiced for like a day and a half. A lot of them have similar ish choreography, just in different orders, but like it is
footage as soon as it was done filming and immediately wanted more before it even aired. The cast of Dance Moms' interpersonal drama that spanned years was intoxicatingly addictive and felt truly authentic. Christy explaining, receive a call from a Lifetime executive ordering a season 2 from Collins Avenue Entertainment.
So by the time we got to whatever the episode was that the agent from New York came to the dance recital, that we did the awful mom dance, the producer came to us and they were like, listen, the network wants more episodes. And we were like, wait, it was supposed to be 6. And they're like, yeah, no, they think this is going to be a great show. And we're like, it's not even aired yet. And they're like, it doesn't matter. They think it's great. They want more episodes. So we're going on the road this summer. And I was like, I can't go. And he's like, what do you mean you can't go? And I said, I have a 1-year-old. I had Clara. And I said, I can't leave Clara. And he said, oh, no. He's like, we will hire you a nanny to come with us. He was like, pack your bags. We're going on the road. So we did. We had a couple of weeks break after we found out that we were going to film more episodes. Came back in June, literally packed 155 suitcases. That's what it felt like because we were going on the road for 6 weeks. Drove to the studio parking lot, got on a bus, and started like our cross-country trek.
Christy recalls being bewildered. The moms, daughters, nor Abby had any idea how huge the show would become. What was
crazy.
initially a 2-episode appearance for the moms had turned into a multi-season reality TV show, and season 2 would begin filming before season 1 even had the chance to air. The first episode of Dance Moms would premiere on July 13th, 2011, to over 1 million viewers, bringing a renaissance to the Lifetime network. And by the next season, the viewership would double. Dance Moms was a certifiable smash hit. With the removal of Minister Dawn and the addition of Jill and Kendall in season 2, Dance Moms would truly find its footing as one of the greatest reality TV shows ever created. The Dance Moms producers, Abby Lee, the Dance Moms, and subsequently their daughters would fall into the Hollywood machine.
Yeah, that's not a good place to be either.
Star in their own right, or in Mia's case, her own life. Music career after music career would spawn from the show. Mackenzie Ziegler being Abby's project, being transformed into a female rapper much like Maddie B, named Mac Z. Abby would produce music videos and even an entire album.
That's so
for
funny to
Mackenzie,
me.
But the Dance Moms record deals were seemingly predatory.
No, they just were.
You already know, me and Shelby have extensively documented the various predatory music producers, labels, and contracts that inundate your favorite stars. And sadly, 6-year-old Mac Z was no different. Mackenzie
If anything, it's more likely.
pressured her into signing with Kismet Music in exchange for, quote, technically and commercially satisfactory records. Kismet Music guaranteed Mackenzie that they would secure her a recording contract. According to Mackenzie and Kismet, neither of them followed through with their ends of the deal. But Kismet grossly underpaid Mackenzie. The record company said Mackenzie was label hopping while violating the exclusivity deal in her contract. Needless to say, Abby had gotten Mackenzie in a mess, one that Mackenzie would have to deal with through her teen years, all while Abby was in prison. If you ask Abby, she has a different story about Melissa and Mac Z entirely.
And then
have their kids sign a 360 deal with me to produce their music. They go to #1 in 3 countries, and then just leave. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen a penny. No. Not one penny. I was reimbursed for my expenses for a video. It's still making money today. Who's getting that? Where is it going?
Nonetheless, Maxie was a project Abby was truly inspired by, whereas her second project with Kendall Vertes, otherwise known as Kendall K, was more so because Jill started doing
all
more
these
favors
names
for Abby.
stupid. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I think they're all
I am not
dumb.
just for Maddie. They call me and they want Maddie. They don't want me yet.
Now, this caused Dr. Holly to go behind Abby Lee's back and recruit Danity Kane legend Aubrey O'Day.
Aubrey is a singer-songwriter. She was part of a girl group called Danity Kane, and she was also a part of making the band with P. Diddy.
Oh, that's crazy. Hello? That?
To produce her
that?
daughter Nia's music career instead.
I don't know if I need to say
Abby.
anything else about that.
This poisoned Abby against Nia. Abby often encouraging the other girls and their mothers to leave Nia out and not participate in her musical projects.
For Kendall, it's easier for her to be happy because Abby, she's promoting it. She's excited about it. Why is that? There's no need to be on a mission to make Kendall's video better than Nia's.
The only girl who supported Nia through thick and thin was JoJo Siwa, who would appear alongside her in multiple music videos and performances. Nia's music career lit a fire under Abby as she began to push Kendall K's music career.
Holly and Nia and the little kind of backstabbing. For her to do her own project on her own, it's kind of like I'm out for a vengeance. I'm out to compete. I'm out to be better than that.
If Nia recorded a new song, Abby would record an album with Kendall. If Nia was doing a music video with Aubrey O'Day, Kendall K would do one with Abby. This back and forth would all come to a head when Dr. Holly, Abby, and Jill would plan live performances on the same day, forcing all the Dance Moms girls and their mothers to pick a side.
Pick a side, pick a side.
The only girl siding with Nia, again, being JoJo Siwa. While Wear 'Em Out, Kendall's first single, was a success in the Dance Moms world, Kendall would actually be shelved by Abby for over a year, completely killing any momentum her first single had. This even played out on the show.
Yeah, and also I don't know how much like Kendall actually wanted to do a music career. Unlike Nia, like I'm reading into this, but when I was watching this, at least it felt like Kendall didn't really like care that hard either way about it. But then Nia felt like she actually at least wanted to do it in that moment. Like I don't know if she still wants to do music. I don't know if either of them still want to do music, but at least there's like a level of passion of like someone forcing you to do it because it's a good opportunity versus someone actually wanting to do it and you have a good opportunity. So
Abby about when her daughter's next single would be released, and Abby putting it off until she literally couldn't any longer. After 2 years of sitting on an entire album of Kendall's music, Jill alerted Lifetime producers that she had sent Abby a legal letter, completely severing ties professionally pertaining to Kendall's music career.
You've held her up for 2 years. She's had a whole album you've been sitting on.
So Abby, what's going on with Kendall and all that music?
I don't know. It's my attorney. Gotta figure out what we're doing.
That's why my attorney contacted your attorney to get it taken care of.
You're nobody, and you're nothing.
She's not nobody. She has.
Yes, she isn't.
No, she's
4
not.
years ago, before I put your ass in a chair.
So were you, Abby. You were nobody too.
Yeah.
When I met you, your car was impounded.
My dad died, and he did my billing, Jill.
To use these kids to put you where you are now.
My music video is this weekend, and I haven't shot a music video in like 2 years. You know, this one's obviously gonna be different because one, Abby's not managing me. It's kind of like it's my song now. Abby doesn't own it. If Abby says anything mean towards you guys, it's probably just because I have a music video this week.
I don't care. I don't manage Kendall's music anymore.
But this wasn't the only situation the Dance Moms and their daughters would find themselves entrapped in.
Living on the dance floor.
The set of Dance Moms was at best emotionally abusive and at worst physically hazardous. Over the course of Dance Mom's success, multiple members of the ALDC have expressed negative self-image on and off the show. A study conducted in 2015 showed that the largest contributing factor to a child's negative self-body image is their parents' own negative self-body image. And the Dance Moms back in 2011 to 2017, well, they were pretty ruthless towards themselves and each other.
I keep hearing the moms talk about work they'd like to have done, to retain their youth. Well, I thought of an idea, nip and tuck. A little here, a little there.
I never worry that my kids can't handle a dance or concept that Abby has to show them. My girls totally know what liposuction is because I always talk about it. I would love to get it.
Well, I'm getting a boob job.
Well,
That-
I thought you wanted to do it for your 40th.
I was going to do it for my 40th birthday, and then if I like them, then I'll get my out.
Maybe I'm being naive, but I don't think anybody struggles with body image. I think they all kind of own it. I was built like that.
So was I.
Super skinny.
Sadly, what the ALDC members have said about themselves is nothing in comparison to what Abby told them on a daily basis.
Did you even see Nia?
That doesn't mean she wasn't working. Stop lying about my kids.
I can see by the size of the thigh, butt mounting in the air.
Yeah, that's crazy. And this is not even the worst. I'm pretty sure this is not even the worst thing she's called any of these kids as far as body.
I'll tell you what I saw when I walked into the bathroom was my daughter crying, going like this to her thigh, crying, "My body is my body, there's nothing I can do." Since I got here, and so is she, her feet, her knees,
her legs,
her
her feet,
thighs,
her legs,
her
her
rib
feet.
cage, her shoulders, her elbows, her hands, her hair, her neck's not long enough.
Touche. Touche, you got it.
So when I started on Dance Moms,
Yeah,
I had a lot
the
of exposure
biggest
very
biggest
quickly,
contributor to this.
and
No offense. I'm sorry she has to go through all this body stuff, but I always just remember her as the tall girl. That's all I remember her. Not only because of the comments that happened, but also because of the actual literal Netflix movie. That's all I remember her as.
that led to a lot of body shaming.
On camera, she's like, "You suck. You're freaking terrible. Your feet are absolutely horrible." One time, she told me that the bottom of my feet looked weird because, the top of my feet were brown and the bottom were white, and none of the other people's were like that. And she was like, "It looks weird on the bottom."
That's so crazy. That's just black skin, honey. I don't know what to tell you.
She has names for their stomach. They'd be any skinnier. And she'll be like, "Suck in your stomach," and she calls it a name.
No, Kennedy Mackenzie.
Yeah, Rocky Mackenzie.
Kennedy is Bob.
She didn't want to teach us. She was over us. She called us old and washed up and slugs and fat.
This is the dark reality of what the Abby Lee Dance Company had to face day in and day out.
And
But
apparently
somehow
she's
the show
also, I don't know if this is that definitely off camera stuff she probably said, but also probably on camera. But I also heard that she's also horrible off camera. Worse. Whatever you saw on television, 10 times worse off camera is what I'm hearing.
It's even darker behind the scenes. Through various podcast clips and interviews, the cast of Dance Moms have revealed that the young girls of the ALDC would often be locked in the bathroom for extended periods of time. This was due to the production team needing to capture some of Abby's most explosive moments with the moms. According to a talent manager, the ALDC kids were not allowed to leave the bathroom stalls until the arguments calmed down. And if you've watched Dance Moms, you know how frequently those arguments happened. The girls would also often be forced to be on camera.
That's what I thought it was
In
going to
Kelly's
do.
lawsuit that we're going to get into a
haven't
little bit
purged it
later,
in 2
she
days,
alleges
in like
that
a
the
week, I mean.
producers knew how anxious the show was making a young Paige feel.
Paige, I think you're having anxiety, and she gets you so nervous that you can't function. This is not right over dance class. We have to get out of here. We have to get out of here.
But look at here. I just took my cat.
Many of the moms have also said that the girls would regularly hide away from the cameras just to get a moment of privacy. But the producers
Which makes
would
sense.
invade that privacy by hiding microphones in places they knew the kids tried to hide out in. This includes the bathrooms. Nowhere was off limits for filming these young girls. Every bit of their life, from rehearsals, private lessons, and competitions, were all captured by Collins Avenue production cameras. The production team also loved to stir the pot to create more drama than there already
producers,
was.
as we always
If
said,
a producer heard a dance mom or daughter saying something that would rile Abby up, they would immediately alert Abby of what was said and the child's location in hopes that she would go running over there to yell at them. If a producer caught a flaw in a child's performance that Abby didn't catch, they would alert Abby of that as well and send her storming after either the child or, in some cases, even the judges.
As the story goes, at the beginning of Dance Moms, the competitive dance world had already ravaged the Ziegler household, causing Melissa to separate from her husband and father to her children, Kurt Ziegler. While she was doing this, she actually caught feelings for her boss, Greg Gisoni.
Oh,
even
yeah.
allegedly introducing some of the Dance Moms
This is
to
the crazy
him in a
part.
super secret car trip. Now, after the first season of Dance Moms premiered, the mother of Greg's children and now his ex-wife allegedly had no idea that Melissa and him were together, and even allegedly made a huge storm on social media. Now, this is contested, as the original social media post
This is
from
where I'm
Greg's
like,
ex-wife
this is horrible, but also this is
unknown.
kind of their own
But it makes
business. I
logical
don't like
sense due to
particularly
the
care about this that
subsequent
hard.
lawsuit threats that were to come. As when Melissa started wearing a big ring on her finger, all the Dance Moms questioned what was going on.
Melissa has a big rock on her finger, and I don't know why she's being so secretive about it. It's like, I mean, every time I ask her about it, she's just like, oh, it's no big deal.
When production asked Melissa about it, she refused to answer. She knew her love life could be reality TV gold, and she'd already seen what Dance Moms had done to her friendships. Producers pushed this boundary by asking all the other Dance Moms what Melissa had told them.
I heard about the engagement. So are you gonna be in the wedding? Do you think I'm gonna be in the wedding?
My mom is engaged, but she wants to keep it quiet.
Can't believe you're not more excited about the wedding. What do you think of the ring?
Beautiful.
I love the story.
No, don't say it.
What story? Mackenzie, shh, tell me the story.
That's crazy.
I don't know what story.
You lie.
We're not supposed to tell Abby anything. She's a blabbermouth.
Damn.
Seriously, I don't know.
They
the
definitely
story.
fed that line to that
What's
child.
Chloe? She's a weirdo. What's she making up?
I don't know what story they're talking
Tell me
about.
what story.
Why aren't you wearing your ring?
I'm not wearing it anymore.
Melissa still won't talk about her engagement, and now she's not wearing her ring. What is going on here?
Doesn't that hurt Greg's feelings, though?
It's just how we're doing it.
Did the girls say anything about it? You don't wear it? Did they notice it?
Abby, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but these people are starting this again. So my kids and I are leaving and we're not going this weekend. Come on, Maddie. Maddie can go without me. If you're gonna take care of her.
I will take her.
Greg, please call your attorney. These are doing this again.
And apparently this wasn't about the moms. Like, when her saying that these people are doing this again, she wasn't actually talking about the moms, apparently. She was talking about the producers, which makes sense. Like, I get why you wouldn't want this on television. So, I can respect it for that, but...
This caused Melissa and Greg's attorney to serve the production company that made Dance Moms and the fellow mothers with cease and desists on the actual show.
Can we discuss?
About being around the bush?
I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to ask you flat out. Did you people get a letter too?
Okay, I was waiting for someone to bring up the letter.
All of the moms received a letter from an attorney saying to cease and desist discussion of Melissa's personal life. I can't believe that she sent a letter to all of us from an attorney that was hired.
What friend sends you a letter?
And then if you do...
Well, we have to bring up an awkward subject, Melissa.
Why?
The letter. The attorney that we all got.
It wasn't from me. It's from his attorney, not my attorney.
I even felt such betrayal, just to be honest, because I'm like, I can't even believe most of you are that upset that I would get something from an attorney.
But like I said, I didn't send it.
Who lies all the time?
Okay.
Who had an affair with her boss? Who's living with a man who's still married?
I did not have an affair with my boss.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not, bitch. There, I said it.
There's a new word. We haven't used that one yet.
So she knows exactly what she's doing.
Wonder what she said.
You are more worried about your friendships with all of these women than your own kids, and you know it.
My kids?
The same thing
No.
about worrying about a guy instead of your own kids. Yes.
My kids.
Damn, it's crazy, because Chrissy was talking about this, and she's like, damn, shit. Be like me. I'd be like, damn, I wouldn't say that.
Husband to another
Instead of just worrying about your kids? Please.
We have a happy household.
Well, your kid doesn't look very happy to me. Really?
Absolutely.
I think Sophia Lucio rocked her world.
Now, in an interview with ET,
What'd she
Melissa
say?
actually
Someone-
said
what?
this
Hold on.
Lucio household. Well, your kid doesn't look very happy to me. Really?
Absolutely.
I think Sophia Lucio rocked her world.
I don't know what
Now,
she
in
said,
an interview with
but that
ET,
ending is
Melissa actually
sus.
said this
I still
entire
can't
storyline
determine
was
what she said.
concocted by Dance Moms producers.
Like they gave all the moms a letter from me. I think it was an invoice for something.
They created situations to get us all wound up.
Right.
To get the group. And no one knew the truth. No one knew.
I would never sue my friends, just saying.
Did you not talk about that during the time of filming?
Oh, of course, but they can edit you any way they want to edit you.
Yeah, there were a lot of things said, not in the context where they had us saying them.
Sending the mothers letters to make it look like they came from Melissa's attorney. Melissa revealed this is why she maintains that she never actually sent the letters.
But like I said, I didn't send it.
This was a major turning point for the production of the show, as it was the first time the Dance Moms producers had tried to exploit someone's personal life, and the moms seemingly sided with production, doing whatever they asked.
I mean, it was a TV show. It was reality. We fought because the producers really put a lot of things on our plate to fight about.
Give me a break. If you could sleep with Abby, you would. And
Oh,
you know
yeah.
It.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's how you tend to get ahead in life, Melissa.
Oh, yeah, I sleep with everybody.
You do, boss.
I'd never slept with my boss.
Yes, you did. You married him.
Yes, I married
Yeah,
Greg
after you slept with him and had an affair when
I
he
did
had a
not.
wife. And you had a husband.
Guess what? I didn't sleep with him. And don't start with me again,
You
Christy.
did.
You know what?
I know. Storm out. We love it.
I am storming out because this is not being
Sue
brought
me.
up.
She didn't make it easy on any of the six little girls.
Like, would the producers give you a specific thing to fight about? Or like,
Oh
what?
my gosh, so they're texting you while you're sitting there.
Oh, I forgot about that. They would text you guys.
Prompt and prompt and prompt. Imagine you've been watching people on TV for 5 years. Like, to actually walk into a room with those people and then be told you have to say mean things about their kids or about that to them.
Yeah. And then I think the producers, they would get mad when you wouldn't like go with what.
Well, I mean,
they
they're
wouldn't.
just doing a job
Yeah.
too. Like, everybody's just trying to make a good TV show. I mean, I actually like the producers. I'm still friends with a lot of them on social media.
This created an entirely new show, one with puppet masters crafting every single argument through their puppets, aka the Dance Moms. Melissa and Ashley thoroughly explained the producers' antics on social media long after the show aired.
Whenever they did new auditions for new kids for the show, it was all made up. They never added kids. It was just to help with like an episode or to make something more exciting. And we would tell the moms, this is not real. Your kids are really not going to be on Dance Moms, but they'd still act crazy and try to get on the show.
I think what surprised me the most about doing Dance Moms, I was like, I'm kind of a good actress. Like, I can kind of play a part. So I was hired to come in and shake things up. Like, that was my job. Without the moms causing drama, there was no show.
Yeah.
Like, if everybody sat on the steps and was like, oh, my daughter's so good, oh, she's so pretty, there would be no show. And if we wanted a contract, I had to do, I mean, I'd walk in the morning and the producers would like ambush me, like 3 of them. We need this and we need this and we need to have a good week this week. And the hard thing is like, you don't really understand how things are going to play back on TV because you've never done it before.
And they edit the crap out of the episodes.
Yes.
Things will happen that never happened, and then you watch it back and you're like, wait, they just made me look like the bad guy, but that literally never happened.
Oh, you would go sit in an interview and they would literally feed you lines and you would have to just repeat it.
Repeat it.
No idea where they're going to insert it in the episode. Jill and Kendall had an audition to go to. And their deal with the producers was, if you start a fight with Ashley and walk out, we'll let you go. So literally that was what happened. And I did nothing. I said nothing to make Kendall yell at me.
Woman, to talk to my child.
So when she yelled at me and it didn't make any sense, they had to insert something.
Yeah, in the interview, they made her say, like, Jill's just upset that Brynn had a better season than Kendall. And
You're just jealous that Brynn has had a better season than Kendall.
And then they inserted it in the episode, so it made it sound like she said it during Pyramid, but she never did. Like, literally never.
Yeah, you gotta, if that bothered you, you gotta go back and watch it and realize that they never.
They didn't show your face. They just, like, insert the voice and, like, are not showing your face. Yeah.
Hands back to me.
So there are reality shows which are
Yeah.
scripted. Ours,
That
we never got
that
a
stuff is
script.
like insanely interesting. I know it's really dark in here. I don't feel like turning my light on, and I'm charging my light right now. My big light, I mean, but then I'm charging my small light in a second.
We never got a script, but they knew what they wanted every week, and that set you up. I mean, and that's what reality shows did, you know.
The producers would have 3 storylines that they really manipulated us to get to. They would create these storylines just from listening to us talking. We had those mics on.
Could you not talk about that during the time of filming?
Oh, of course, but they can edit you any way they want to edit you.
Yeah, there were a lot of things said not in the context where they had us saying them.
Kira, for instance, threw a bottle at a camera person or a producer, and it made it look like she was throwing it at one of us. And
but she was mad. She was mad at the producer. She whipped the bottle, and they made it look like she was throwing it at Jess.
Walk your happy ass that way and back straight. Thank you.
Wow.
You're trying to make up to cause drama. So walk your that way. I'm sick of her.
They were also involved in the dance competitions the children competed at.
Bro, I don't want to like go back to this, but to be a fly on the wall during the filming of this, I would kill for. Maybe not actually, but like I would definitely want to see. Like I just want to see how it all fell into place. It's so many interesting. It's really interesting to me. I don't know why.
This is competitive dance, and the competition is fierce. It's just like any other sport, but with even more politics. From preemptively pulling numbers to bribing the judges, the dance teachers would stop at nothing to not only win, but bring their competition down. For instance, don't get me wrong, like I think the ALDC is full of very talented dancers, obviously. But for Abby to have an over 13 competition first place winning streak, it seems like there could be some reality TV magic at play. And according to Kira and Kalani, there definitely was. During a live event in 2018, they explained that because of child labor laws, many of the dance competitions were actually invitationals.
On dance moms, some competitions fake.
They're not fake, but they are like, I mean, yeah, actually, yeah. Well, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, they kind of are. Because there's child labor laws. So they can't go to a real dance competition because, no, they can't go to a real dance competition because they can't con anybody to switch the scores. Okay, well, that's true too. But the other reason is because whenever we go to dance competitions with child labor laws, we can't work more than 10 hours. So if we were at a real dance competition, there's times where you perform at 8 in the morning and then you don't perform until 11:30 at night. And that would not be good. It would be breaking the law, which they did before, but we don't do it anymore. Changing the scores.
See, many existing dance competitions wouldn't allow the show Dance Moms to film. With an invitational, the producers could be in charge of the judges panel and switch the scores if they didn't fit their storyline, as well as to allow Abby.
Maybe I'm just not understanding this, but I just have no idea. Sorry, I just want to like see how dark it is. Freak, it is so late where I am. But like I just don't get what the difference between a competition and an invitational is. Like, it's an invitational, they set it up, or is it like similar to a competition, but you're not really getting judged? I don't get that. Maybe I'm stupid though.
To argue with a panel of judges without harming her dance career.
After Chloe won, Abby pulled the judges into a production room because she completely disagreed with their decision. And she won. That Chloe won. She was not having it. She pulled the judges into the room and gave this long sob story about how Chloe has fans and Instagram fans and she's never in class and this is why she doesn't deserve to win and I don't understand how you guys scored her like that. Right. What does that have to do?
Does that have to do with
No.
that? Does that have to do with that They're only competition? judging on what they see.
Right. And one of the judges was like, I don't watch Dance Moms. I don't care how many Instagram fans she has or whatever. I judged her on her dancing. And the rest of the judges followed. And I went in there and I was like, okay, you guys, it's time to go. Like, this is enough. It was funny because she was like, I'm a good actress. I can go in there and be happy for her and say all this to her face, but I don't think she should have won.
Man, she really has it out for that poor
And this is why I can't feel sorry for her, because she's just like a bully and a narcissist.
Various dance teams to come compete on TV against the ALDC, inviting.
Oh, that's what I mean by invitational. So they put it on themselves. I didn't know. I was like, what does that mean? So it is like, because when is it invitational? I thought they meant like dance competitions invite them, but I'm like, isn't that the same thing? But I guess if they invite groups to dance for Dance Moms, then that makes sense as to why they would also win so much. So
watch and challenging their local dance troops. This explains some of the more exuberant and boisterous fights that otherwise would have gotten the ALDC removed from any normal dance competition. Now, don't get me wrong, this wasn't every single competition by any means. Some of them were actually real.
Competitions.
were not fake. They were not set up or anything. I mean, we did have different types of competitions that we went to. Like, the competitions that we went to sometimes were small, and sometimes barely any people were there, but the competitions weren't fake.
Which explains some of the nationally renowned competitions they competed at. But this is why Abby was seemingly in with a lot of the competition judges. She had created some relationships at the real competitions they went to, but she had major influence at the invitational shows put on by production. And still, this wasn't the only thing fabricated on Dance Moms.
Here's a secret that you guys don't know. We performed all of our dances twice. So once for the judges. So that was the time where they could actually judge you. That was like for real. And then the second time was kind of like the do-over, so that they get the shots for camera, so that they can play the whole solo instead of just snippets, and they get different angles.
Many shocking moments were later revealed to be completely rehearsed or created entirely by the producers.
When Paige forgot her dance, like they on purpose didn't give her the music. So it was like the night before, and she hadn't practiced with her music, and the next morning at 8 o'clock she had to get up on stage and perform. So they'll make things happen, but we don't know.
You stepped out on stage, you started your routine, and your music skipped. So I don't know what happened with the CD. It's just scratched.
Abby has been in the dance world long enough to know that when that happens, you win. So the second Maddie's music stopped, I knew what was going on.
I think that CD was scratched on purpose. Abby would argue with me, but
I tell her, I'm like, no, Kelly said she cheated.
I said that she told me she cheated.
Oh.
Remember, she called me on the phone and was saying that Abby had her practice it without the music.
While Dance Moms was highly manipulated by producers, it made for some of the most entertaining reality television to come out of the 2010s. The Dance Moms were on a rocket ride of success that was preying on non-media trained suburban mothers and the hunger for their child to be a star. But not all the mothers could take the heat of Abby Lee or the producers. Nothing could be more true for reality TV queen and internet royalty Kelly Hyland. Abby had trained Kelly since she was only 8 years old. And when Kelly had kids of her own, she brought them to none other than the
because they were the closest in friends, I'm pretty sure, her and Kelly. And that's why like everything that happened is so insane.
Kelly's children, Paige and Brooke. And this would boil over into the first physical fight that ever aired on Dance Moms. And it was arguably the most memorable moment from the franchise as a whole. Abby Lee would make the choice to form a new
put it on the map
elite team
somewhat
to
as
compete
or cemented
against
it
her
as a
existing
classic.
one. And the entire situation would end in hair being pulled, faces being slapped, and fingers being bitten. Now, me and Shelby will be covering that in the finale of our 3-part Dance Moms deep dive. And you don't want to miss it.
So anyways, I'm gonna see how much my light is on. That's enough. And then we're gonna play for a bit, for not too long. Probably like an hour or two. We're gonna play a couple rounds of Super Auto Pets. Just for a few rounds. Okay, so that was fun and all, but we're gonna do something else for about an hour. So, and then we're probably gonna end in an hour or so. Or I'm gonna play 2 rounds of Super Auto Pets, and then we're going to, I do want to see the pets, the weekly pack. Oops, I just want to look at it. Ooh, it's so cute. I really don't want to play the weekly pack though, but I do like the pets. I love the pets. I do love the pet art. Yeah. This is not really the greatest lineup, but it's pretty good. Yeah. I'm rusty on this game. I've not played in the whole week that I've not streamed, so this will probably be a wash. Sell. I don't know if that's even worth it. Even to have another one. Well, maybe, because it does have a lot of health. Fish is not that really good. Should I roll and see if there's something better? I really don't love. I'm not in love with cricket. Beaver. Horse is actually good too, but we're gonna leave it. Dang. And freeze a pig. Ugh. Yeah, I think the pig's the only one that I should freeze. Just because I can level it up next round. But other than that, I think that's fine. Oh, I need to freaking change my category. Wow, I did not watch. I was doing stream stuff. Anyways. Yeah, and then we roll. And we don't need any more pigs, so I don't care enough. Yeah, Hedgehog's bad too. I don't really care like that for him. Let's see the order. I feel like I should be Beaver in front just because he has the most health and attack. And then I think that's fine. Put my tank in the back. So yeah, I'm kind of rusty, so it will be an uphill battle to actually get any, yeah, to get any wins. But it's fine for right now. Well, I guess sheep is kind of good, but like, I don't, I could sell a duck, I guess. I'm trying to think, should I get the snail before I get the sheep? If I had the horse, it'd be better, but I don't really have that right now. I always lean so far in when I play this game. I get too locked in. I'm trying to think. If I like buy the snail, I just get no, that's kind of stupid. I had a pill for this flamingo, but I have nothing to put it on. There's nothing really good right now. I get sell a pigeon to get the peacock, feed the peacock, all this stuff, and then, or I should just like not got the sheep at that point. But I knew I was gonna, but it's fine. So I have no. I only get one free. Honestly, I was kind of rewarded for that when I really didn't need to be. That might replace this snail. Because I think kangaroo's better. And let's look at the order. I think this order's fine. This is a scrub team. I think I can win this. Dang, this is a huge otter. I did not think he was gonna do all that. Really? I feel like it's too late for horse, so I can't go to him. I wish it went to one of the ones I wanted, but pill, if only I had something to pill. I'll freeze it just in case I do find something. I need to sell this beaver, but I don't know. There's something I've been getting that's good, so there's no need right now, at least. We can put this beaver ahead. Wait, no, because he works better with. Yeah. Yeah, I have no issue with this then. Oh yeah, my mic is on. I didn't think my mic audio was on for a second. Damn, my Rams actually pulled that through. Hippo's better, but he's still not that great. The only thing I think I would sell right now would be the pig for Hippo, but I don't think that's worth it. or it'd be either pig or beaver. So, okay, is swan good right now? I feel like it's kind of too late. Hmm. I don't think anything right now is super great. Oops. If I sell a beaver, I get 2 coins and then... But I invested in them, so I'm now confused. I don't need to sell them. But I'm gonna keep them for this round, I think. I've already invested too much in them. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I fucking thought. Anyways. Now this hippo's really looking good to me. They give me 2 and I'm like, well. Goodbye, beaver. Went to the 2 worst people to go to, no offense, but god dang. No. Maybe, actually. And that might replace the... Kind of a little bit too late for deer, but he's still kind of good. For what I'm getting, at least. Only thing, but the only thing about like having Peacock so far in the back is that he kind of doesn't help me with anything. It's still worth it for deer, I'd say. I feel like technically I should get rid of sheep, but I kind of like sheep. I've already invested in them a little bit, so. And I already kind of have a summoning team, so I think it's better to go with deer for right now. I don't really need this pill, unless I can find something to pill it for, but not really. Shark's kind of good, but he's not good for anything right now. No. See, this is good, but then like I would just sell something, so this is kind of bad. In actuality. Because I would just sell someone, well, no, I don't have anything for him anyways. Because the only thing I could sell, that I would want to sell, would be either the hippo or the sheep. Maybe the kangaroo. They're tempting me though. Okay. I don't know why this team is like good. It's gonna start to get bad soon. Because I'm gonna start changing shit. I didn't even get to my deer back here. See, the moment the sheep becomes ineffective, that's when I need to change him out. Because everything else right here up front is good. But the sheep is the only thing that might stub me later on. Let me see what... I don't have a mushroom yet. I'm trying to figure out... This chili would not be good for anything. I'm just gonna roll, man. I'm kind of hard stuck here, so it's annoying. Once I get the thing that I need to get. No. And then we're gonna just level up this deer back here and wait. This is a bad strategy, but this is what I'm doing. Dang, we're gonna both take each other out. There's no way. Mutually exclude something about something. Mutually assured destruction. Now I'm waiting for whale. And listen, I'm only waiting for the whale. You have one roll to make it or break it. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, but then it would get rid of this, which is horrible. Ooh. This is bad strategy 101. It's fine. I'll put on the ram because this like does not matter for right now. Oh my god. Yeah, I knew it going into the higher things. I'm about to get smoked like you wouldn't believe. I think I just gotta sell a sheep. It's annoying because like I'm selling the sheep in hopes I get a whale. Genuinely. So that's very annoying to me. Especially is my highest thing. It's insane. Nah, I think this is worth it though. Need the turtle. Yeah, this makes sense. Then we pill the turtle. And then we buy the cow. And then one on you, I think. On game 3. One on you. And then we keep the cow for right now, unless on this next roll we get a whale. Or we sell a cow for 1, buy another cow. Get the milk again. I think pizza's technically better than whatchamacallit, but and we get another turtle and another pill. If I wanted to do that. Bad strategy. This is all dumb. Yeah. This is a problem with banking on one strategy that I can't improvise that well. I'm trying to decide if I should buy this boar now, or if I should sell him, or not sell, roll, like not freeze him or anything, just roll and see what we get. Why? Why aren't you doing it? And still nothing. I'm glad no one's here to see this horrible strategy. I'm being so real. This is awful, awful tactics for me. Bro, I'm so sad they have not given me a whale. I'm so upset about this. And we're just freezing that just in case the next turn it's bad. I don't need more. That's too many. They give me all tigers. It's crazy. Basically all tigers. At least. That dog, worrisome. Yeah, I'm not beating this dog. There's just no way. Closer than I thought, though. I thought it was just gonna be a blowout. I'm stupid and I always forget to use that. My last life, if I die here, it is what it is. Okay, we're playing one more game. Yeah. Okay. You always want to go for a win, but like if you can't get one, that's also fine. But I'll freeze the beaver, but I won't freeze the duck. Scrubs, I hate that my early gameplay is so good, but then everything else sucks. I'll try to wrap it out. I'll see what the game plan is. I just want to see what this is. This is what I actually should get, so I'll probably get that next turn. I didn't change order. Goddamn. You can call that a wash. I don't need any more beavers, and I don't really think I need a honeypot either. So I think need to sell things I could sell is rabbit, pig, beaver, but we need to like siphon them. We need to save them so that when I get into the late game, I have at least one spot I can always rotate out. Dang, Peacock's so fucking good this early. I'm gonna make use of this rabbit for a second. Only to then sell it off for the sheep. Just for this round, because I don't see anything better to sell the beaver for. Let's see how this order works.
Giraffe. I do so much stuff and I just don't even talk out loud. It's because I just... Anyways. Yeah, I like that. I would say, that's a crazy hit. I was like, what? Everybody? I was like, how does that work? I need to get rid of this beaver and possibly this giraffe, but not super soon yet. We're not there yet.
Oh my god. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Dang it. Nothing. Still. Good lord. Is there like a specific way to get things to summon faster? Because like, I feel like there is, I'm just not doing it. Yeah, as soon as I got down to the last beaver, I was like, it's gonna be nothing that's gonna help me on that one. Maybe it's worth it now for the shark. There's nothing else. There's nothing else that they're giving me that would be worth it right now. And then I'll level him up. And we'll give everybody some food. And it almost hit everybody I wanted. All of the sheep just because I don't feel like rolling for anything right now. I think we wiped this game. That might be wrong. They do a lot of summons. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought, but I was like, there's a chance. There is a chance that I don't wipe this team. There's this thing that people that I've been told about was this fly shark combo. I'm like, oh, is it worth it? Especially when I'm trying to get a freaking whale right now. The only thing I would replace would be the giraffe, because the giraffe is nice because he just levels everything up. Or is it flail whale? Fly whale. Flail whale. What? I think it's shark fly. They have never given me a whale in this run so far. I do need this. So, I knew it was gonna hit this fly, and I'm pissed off about it. Hit everything I didn't. Well, hit the shark, which is fine, but it hit like 2 things I didn't want it to hit, really. But at least it leveled it up, so it's about the same level as the giraffe I got rid of, so. Yeah. But now I'm conflicted. Yeah, I'm doing that. Okay, but now I'm conflicted. They gave me a whale. But where do I place it for? Because I kind of do like this fly on here. And I really just, and I can't get the swan because it's my highest thing. And I can't, of course I can't get rid of the deer because that's my thing. And I can't get, and the only thing I could get rid of would be either the fly or the sheep. Because the thing is, the fly works so well with the shark. And then the sheep also helps me, like, do more on it. Well, let me see. Is mushroom unlocked? Yeah, it is. So the only thing I could hope for, because the only thing that would replace how valuable the sheep is right now, is if I sell the sheep off, get the the whale, and then get a mushroom possibly, or something else like that, so that it upgrades. But I think it is more worth to get the whale than the sheep. You know, it's my third highest thing, but this grows more, and this kind of just sits here. I think leveling up the shark is more important than the deer at this moment, because it. Well, hold on. Let's see. Deer. What's it do? Level 10 on and then shark. Pull. Ooh. Let me do this first. See what it hits. And then hopefully we can get another chocolate bar, or at least another shark at least to level him up. So. I hate when I have nothing. When it just destroys my freaking only line. My shark's bigger, I win. But it still pisses me off that it destroyed my goddamn bus. No, I have nothing. I was hoping for a chocolate bar to level up the shark, just so he's a little bit heftier. That's kind of important. I could put that on the deer, possibly. This round I might need to change, or next round I might need to change the swan to be behind the deer in the whale. Dang, I didn't think I was gonna beat that because like their attack is strong, but I didn't look at the health. I was not looking at the health. And then I think I'm gonna put you back there to be a middle tank. Oh wait. Actually. Just because I just put the on there, so it makes it more. Costly for the fly, but we'll see how I feel about it. Oh yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of awkward. But just since it does at the very beginning, I don't know where to put them. I have too much shit. Okay. The thing is, I can't. The fly's good only because it like really helps the shark get big. That's the only reason why I want to keep them. But like the snake, huh, let's see. But I would need to I need to work on them so much to get it to be good that it's kind of not worth it right now. Cow's great too, but then like if I did that, like I definitely it's like. Anyways, it's not really worth it to get to sell. Anyways, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to waste this canned food just because I don't really have anything else I'm thinking about buying, so I don't think it's really wasting right now. Okay, and then we'll decide on the next turn what to do with this fly or not. I'm going to pay very close attention to what this fly does for me. And I don't even reorganize it because like this is the best order I can think of right now. And that's why this is why this combo is good right now. No. Okay, hit everything I wanted. And flip it, might as well also. Well, I should probably buy the fly to see if I can get its health up more, but I think I'm just gonna buy. Where's fly? What level? Yeah, here it is. And then swan. Yeah, it doesn't really. I think if I win this, it kind of doesn't matter. So I should lose like one at a time to see, and then get like 2 flies to make it worth it. But I think this is what we're doing right now. Ooh, baby. This is a like a bad matchup for me. Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna get it to the whale, but then I'm like, he's not my most valuable player. Oh, this is a loss. This is such a loss. I'm gonna die. There's no way. You already get rid of my heaviest hitter? There's no way. I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed. I was literally one from winning. I should have traded in for the fucking snake. That's my own damn fault. See, and I'm even wearing antlers for the deer, and it let me the fuck down. Oh god. Anyways, I'm ending stream here. Nothing else for me to do, and I need to go. I have to work tomorrow, so I'm tired. So, there's all that. But anyways, I might, um, I might stream tomorrow after work at 6. I might not. But I'll definitely stream Sunday. Sunday and Monday, since I don't have anything to do. So, I got nothing else to say. It's my longest stream yet. My comeback stream. Anyways, yeah. Anyways, good night. Goodbye. Have a good night. Have a good life.